This is the awakened man and the awakened woman, the journey of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. This is an idea that came through divine alignment. Um, it was something that was planted, and Dom and I got together and we said something's got to happen. Something we have to do something. And we first decided to start with a live to see what direction any of this can go in. I'm gonna go ahead and let my co-host go ahead and introduce himself and what he does and why he is here.
So thank you for that. I appreciate you, Dawn. And like you said, yeah, this is definitely something that is inspired by a lot of different things, including D'Angelo over here. He was over there pushing for it when when we went on his podcast, and he said, "So D'Angelo, shout out! Hey, if you guys see him in the comment section, D'Angelo James, go ahead and follow him." And then follow his platform because he's doing some phenomenal work. He's talking about everything. He's talking about current events. He's talking about spiritual awakening. He's talking about save the whales, the turtles. He's talking about the best types of tissue to use. Whatever you need, go to that man's page. He gonna help you out. So I just want to give a shout out to him, and he's the one that helped sponsor this. My name is Dominique Walltower, aka King Dom. There's a story to the name. I'll tell you all that later. I am someone who has been in this awakening journey since I became aware of it in 2009. So I've been on the journey of trying to integrate, embody all of these lessons, and in that process had to let go of a lot of things. And so in that letting go, I realized that the divine has wanted me to release, and it's been a process to release. And so I'm still in that journey. And so my job here is to just help anyone else along this journey, and that's what we're here for. I want to just, and we open up to questions for you guys, share the journey that I'm on, that Dawn's on, so that we can help you guys. So, and also to learn from you too, because this is not just about us getting information. This is about us also receiving information, because I already know that, divine source is going to move to enrich all of us throughout this process. So that's who I am. My background, I've been in the social services arena for the last 20 plus years in different capacities. Right now I'm in the domestic violence field. So I work in that arena. And I'm always, anything that has to do with people and our stuff, I'm all about that life. Like, I'm all about that life. That's what I'm doing. So if you look at my TikTok, you'll see a lot of relationships videos, healthy relationships, things that just make you think about the stuff that you're doing. And then more recently, it is more about the spiritual awakening. So that's me in a nutshell. There's a million questions that if you have, please feel free to ask. I'm an open book. I will answer those questions. So that's who I am.
And I also mentioned earlier, for those that are just tuning in, we do want to open up the box and have people come up. If you have questions, if you have something that you want to share, your story, your journey, if you need any type of validation for what you're experiencing, we're here to assist you along that journey, as well as if anything that you want to move forward with either of us, both of us, however you want to do it, we are here, we're available, and we'll give you all those details after. For those that don't know, I am Dawn Kristen Ellison, also known as Dawn of the Aquarius here on these social media platforms. I am a life mastery metaphysician and awakening integration coach. I am also a transformational speaker, and it is my life's purpose, passion, and pleasure to help people realize their true authentic self and to start living life on purpose, with purpose, unapologetically. This is something that I have been extremely passionate about for now going on 20 years. My awakening, or as Dom said, I became aware of my awakening in my mid to late 20s. And it all started from personal development. I'm a domestic violence survivor. And during that time, I knew something was wrong. And then I started pointing the fingers that something is wrong with me. Personal development helped me realize there wasn't anything wrong with me. There were just things that needed to be tweaked, the things that needed to be empowered. Because I was disempowered getting into certain relationships that were not beneficial. Spiritually, I've been awakened my whole life. I don't think I've ever truly been asleep, because I've known there's something on a level that I can't explain, didn't understand that I was meant to do here. And it has everything to do with what I'm doing right now. So I had to awaken to that realization and then awaken to those experiences and how it led me right here to today to be able to serve and give back to those who are going through their journey. It's beautiful. As what did we say the other day, Dom? It's crazy but beautiful at the same time to go through this thing called an awakening. And I wanted to just start out by saying there is a difference between an awakening and a spiritual awakening. An awakening itself is becoming aware. It's when you realize you've been on autopilot in some area of life and you become more purposeful in the moves that you make. A spiritual awakening is an awakening on the deepest levels within you possible. It's when your calling begins to start poking at you like that annoying best friend and needs you to come in the direction in which it's pulling you. During that spiritual awakening, you do have to go through a death of the ego, a death of what was, and everything that you've experienced in life up until this point is a contributing factor to that death. And it's also a contributing factor to the version of you that now is getting life, that is getting reborn. I'm gonna come back to that later. It's becoming reborn because you were already born once as the real you. But somewhere along the line, the not real you was created in its place to take its place. And so that death is important. So that way you can now be reborn as the version of you that you were always meant to be here in this life. And that is where the spiritual awakening takes over. I wanna ask, who's in the room? First of all, we want to know who's in the room. Have any of you gone through an awakening, a spiritual awakening, and where are you along that journey at this point? Go
So
ahead.
Kat says, I'm 59. Mine started at a young age, and my final spiritual awakening was 35 years ago. Final? What do you mean final? You still here? Final? You have to explain that.
What do you mean
Uh,
by final? And
yeah,
you're welcome. Welcome
means we're
to.
not. Final means we're done with the meat suit. Like
Yeah.
you're not a meat suit specialist anymore. So can you please explain what you mean by that, Kat? I'm sure you
And
meant
feel free
something.
to request if you feel comfortable coming up and we can talk about this. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here for. To have these conversations, to get this knowledge, this wisdom, this knowing out. Uh, because we're here to thrive collectively. Um,
Yeah, you talked about that. You talked about that death, and as you were talking about it, I got triggered. I got triggered when you were talking about the death, because man, I just started thinking about the many deaths that I've had in this life. Wait, hold on. Nayara says I'm 27. I'm at the part where the path has disappeared and I've detached from everything. Okay.
mhm.
All right. She can't explain that in text. She has to come up with. Okay. All right. That's fine. Oh, Cordo
Kine,
says you gotta explain that in text. I think she was talking about cat. Um,
that's Kine.
Kine, yeah, I should have said my son started this last one. It's kind of hard. Yes, if you guys can come up, please come up because communicating through text. If you want to, I mean, if you're comfortable with sharing, because we want to hear from you all about this journey. Um, and again, back to what I was saying, there are multiple deaths that you are going to experience, and all of them are a part of the process. Death to your ego, death to your identity, death to relationships, death to programming, death to conditioning. There's, I mean, I'm sorry, I forgot to say this part. Death to comfort and stability. Yeah, yeah. And what do we seek in this life anyway? Our whole lives are trying to get comfort and stability. And then this awakening comes along and it just pulls the rug up from underneath you.
Mhm.
And then you just twirling around trying to figure like what is this? Let me see. So that is a part of the process. It is something that as Don was talking about, it's beautiful. It's,
And
and it's,
stupid.
yeah, it is crazy. Oh, and it will have you questioning your sanity. It will have you questioning your purpose here on this planet. It'll have you questioning everything because you don't realize how programmed we are from birth,
Mhm.
with everything. Like, we are really, really programmed. And um, I think about some of the information that we've received, and it's like, okay, this programming is strategic and it's to keep us in a certain frame of mind. But in order to break out of that, as Don was talking about, the awakening is what breaks you out of that. Like, it breaks you out of like, you start to question the things that you used to accept. You're like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I accepted this because my family, like culture. I accept culture. I accept religion. I accept society. I accept how things work. Get your 401k and then to go take a 2 week vacation and die.
Mhm.
But then in your awakening, you stop accepting it.
Mhm. You accept everything that's outside of you, and then you start to turn within and begin the process of accepting what is inside of you. And what most people don't realize is that everything and all things in this universe is within you. So when you start to detach from the ideas of outside, when you start to question once again, and when you start really looking at everything with a different set of eyes, because you're now looking with a different eye. It's the intuitive eye, it's the inner eye. It's really saying there's more to this than what's on the surface. That's when you really start to dive in and say, okay, what does all this really mean? And the more questions you ask, the more answers get revealed. That's why, sometimes religion has always taught people don't question, don't ask questions. That's what we're here to do. We're here to ask questions. How else do you learn? How else do you become aware? How else do you know what this thing really is that you're supposed to be experiencing? We've been programmed. We've become robots. As I like to say, we become the walking dead. We're just, whatever they say, we take it at face value, and that's just what it is. No, when you become spiritually awakened, it's meant for you to go deeper and deeper and deeper, because guess what? There is no end. Just like what we were just saying about, you don't have a final awakening. Your final awakening is awakening on the other side of life when you're no longer in this body. That's your final awakening for this life itself. But when we go through these things, these different deaths, these different phases, you are becoming a new you. So you do have to let the old version die. You have to let all of the things that come with that old version die as well. And that is where a lot of people stop themselves. They don't want to go further. They're afraid to be without what they know, because it is fear of the unknown. But the beautiful part about it is there should be excitement for the unknown. No, we don't want to let go of our loved ones. No, we don't want to lose those relationships. No, we don't want to lose what it is we're used to. But what you're used to is not what is for you down the line. We're here to experience more. We're here to experience new. And the more we surrender, that's one of our favorite words. The more we surrender, the more we can allow to come in to elevate us and catapult us that much higher, and be at the heights we're intended to reach. Most people want to lock in and hold on so tight to the point where it literally will stop and stunt their growth as people and as spiritual beings.
So so Kat says my business has died. I don't have a passion for hair anymore, and now see my destiny change. Okay, that's part of it. Who is this? Let me see. It was the darkest before the light for me. It was beautiful to have this peace now. Casey says that. And then let me see. Kelly Michelle says initial awakenings, natural and spiritual, were simultaneous during the pandemic. Yep, COVID was definitely something. Steph says I agree. Question in search of truth. Yes. Let me see. May says, I stayed isolated and now I'm happy to be by myself and cry all the time with mixed emotions. Yep. Steph says, for the longest time, I thought I was done learning, living, and growing. Oh, I was never so wrong. Yep.
That's
Yep.
right.
When I walked away from my toxic mother 20 years ago, I found my peace. Ooh, see there? Uh huh. Uh
Mhm.
huh. That's true. So this is to Don's point about letting go. There are certain now traditionally, what are we supposed to do with our parents? We're supposed to just deal with them, just stay there, right? Because they're family, any family members, any relationship, we're supposed to just stay there. And so now you have a generation that is coming up, that are saying no. If I'm going to be in your life, it's not going to be because of loyalty, because that's what people use. They use the L word, loyalty. Like, well, you need to just be loyal to the family. And I always say, if you're using loyalty, that means you don't have love. You got the wrong L. You got the first two letters right, L-O, but you messed up. You got to go. If anyone is in my life, even my kids in my life, if my kids are my life because of love, not because of loyalty. I don't ever speak the word loyalty. I don't ever say that, because loyalty means I'm not putting in the amount of love necessary. And so you have people who in the older generations, in the old programming, just said, just stick by your family no matter what. They abuse you, they mistreat you, they're toxic to you, but stick by them because they're family. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Don't they have a responsibility to be more to me since we're family? Why is it just me having to be more to them? Like, what does this not, where's the reciprocity in this?
Mhm.
So I can understand when you say it's time for some of these relationships to step away. And listen, some of those relationships are just for a season or two. You might come back around in another season, or not, or not. But having the courage to step away and then love yourself and value yourself is actually a part of the awakening process as well. Because when you are awakened and you're spiritually awakened, you don't allow people to mistreat you, because the awakening won't let it. It just won't let that happen. Like we can't, like we don't do that to us. We don't do that. We don't mistreat ourselves, and we don't let other people mistreat us as well. The parental part has been the toughest part of the journey, but I will not compromise on this. That's another thing too. Even
Mhm.
with the kids, like, I mean, sometimes I've had to let go of my grown kids. They go and they come back, and I let them go in love, and they'll come back around. And
Yeah.
and but I will say this too about the parental. What they're not going to leave here with is a dad that was in denial about his mess. They ain't leaving here with that. They're not leaving with a dad who won't apologize, who will not acknowledge what he did wrong. Because I do that. I'm like, look, listen, um, y'all right. You know what? Because we never check in with our kids about some of the things that have happened. We don't. We just assume, and we'll say this word. And parents will say this. Well, I did the best that I could. I don't say that to my kids. I will never say that, because if I did the best that I could, we wouldn't be having the conversation. And
Mhm.
the best that I could is not good enough, for them. And so now I don't condemn myself, but what I am saying is that, what, could I have done better? Yeah, I could have. I could have. I could have done better in some ways, and to be able to apologize to them and just say, you know what, I'm sorry about that. You know what, I was not at the level of growth that I am now. But all I can do now is just make sure I validate what it is that you experience and then move forward from it. I had one of my sons tell me something one time, and I didn't remember it. So instead of saying, I don't remember it, it didn't happen, I
Mhm.
said to him, I don't remember that, but I trust you, because if you're bringing it to me, it must be on you. So I'm gonna go ahead, and it sounds like something I would have did. You know what?
Mhm.
Back in them days, I was a fool. So it sounds like something I would have did. So you know what? I'm sorry for that too. The point is being able to release them from anything that they could hold that says, you know what, there was harm done to me. And the last part I'll say this, I'll land this plane, is that oftentimes as parents and just spouses and people in general, we focus on our intent as parents. I did the best that I could. I never meant to hurt you, but we don't focus on our impact.
Mhm.
So I don't focus on my intent. I focus on my impact. What was the impact of my intention? Don't matter. What matters is what was the impact of my behavior on this person. And if they and listen, the people, the kids, whoever will give you a Yelp review of what the impact was. And I have a choice at that moment to decide, can I help him or her move forward, or should I just stand my ground and be defensive about it? And that part, for me, the level of growth for me and understanding that listen, I'm in the meat suit. I mess up. I mess up. But
Yeah.
what I can do is apologize and say that I'm sorry,
Mhm.
and then let's try to move forward.
That's something that I used to tell my son. I remember telling him the first time when he was 10. I said, "We're a team. And when you're a team, you communicate, you try to reach some kind of common understanding." I said, I want to try to make this as simple as possible. You've never been 10, and I've never had a 10-year-old. So
Mm.
we're literally playing this by ear. So when I mess up, understand I'm not doing it on purpose. It's human nature. We
Hmm.
revisited that again when he hit about 13. I said, I've never had a teenager before. Okay, you've never been a teenager. I know what it was like to be your age, but I don't know what it's like to be your age in this time. Now,
Hmm.
the 90s were totally different.
Hmm.
The 70s were different. The 70s and the 60s were different from my parents. They can't relate in the same way generationally. But what I can do is listen to you, hear you, try to participate with you, give you the best guidance that I can from what I know. And you're going to teach me something too. And when we get to a space of, once again, surrender, we don't have to know it all. We don't have to act like we've got it all together. We don't. We're human. We're flawed perfectly. But at the end of the day, when people have conflict, and trust me, I've experienced this with my own family, every single relationship within my family. You want to be heard. I want to be heard. You want to be felt. I want to be felt. We want the same thing, but we're fighting to get it. We're fighting each other to get it, and that's not healthy. I
Hmm.
want to hear you. Now here's the thing. We get to a space when you're going through your healing, when you're going through doing your work and going through your spiritual journey, you may be the only one that's listening. You may be the only one that's feeling them out because you've already done the work and done the practice and knows what it takes to get into that space with yourself. So you're offering it to someone else. They may not do the same for you. Are you okay with that? Are you going to be okay with the fact that no, they can't hear me? They can't receive me. I'm not going to be heard by you. I hear me. So that should be enough. But putting expectations on other people, that's not giving them grace. That's not giving yourself grace. That's just saying I still want to be heard. That's still ego. That's
Hmm.
still a part of you that still has to be managed and maintained, because what you can do is only lead by example. That's it. You can only lead by example. How did my relationships improve with my family? I started implementing and practicing that work. And they slowly started getting, okay, this is how we're functioning with her now. These are the things we're not going to do. Even when we are
Hmm.
having what could have been an argument, what could have been a disagreement or a difference of opinion, I now verbalize that differently. Okay, this may not come out exactly the way that I intend for it to. You may not receive it the way that I would prefer you to. But I'm going to say this, but allow me to take it a little further so that we can try to reach some kind. I always preface it by saying I don't know the exact words I'm looking for, so that way we both can understand what I'm saying. And I'm here to hear you out and listen. And then sometimes, and I did this to my mom the other day, I said, well, is it okay if we can agree on the fact that maybe we looked at it from a different perspective in that same time? And how I felt is what I felt, how you felt is what you felt. But can we say now that we've grown from that and it's no longer something that sits right here between us? Is that okay? Because I don't want to keep talking about it. Instead of saying, why do you keep bringing that up? Why do we go round and round? No, I don't want to keep talking about it. Let's just say that was then. This is how it went. This is how we felt. It is what it was. And we've grown. We've moved beyond that. It's no longer a problem. So we don't have to keep reminding ourselves that it was a problem.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
breaking it down instead of being defensive. It's really saying, hey, let's create a strategy in this space for this. Let's have an agreement.
When you say this, the defensive piece, I used to say this when I was in church. I'm like, okay, so if I'm in church and I say I believe in God, or if I'm spiritual, whatever I am, why is that? Why has that not permeated to my defensiveness? Why am I still defensive? Why is my ego still showing up? Because that's what defensiveness is. And it's like, so why has my this journey should permeate to the depths, to the core of you. Any behavior that you have that is not of awakening, it should be permeating through that. Okay, it should be. So if I have a toxic behavior of not being able to be accountable, okay, in my awakening, it should be, that should be something, because I always say this, the awakening is not just about the knowledge that we have and we know about other people and how horrible other people are. Do you know you? Do you know you? And so, do you know the things that you bring to the table that cause relationship erosion? So let me read these real quick. So Sweet Steph says, "I'm guilty. I know I bled on my kids," and that's what I'm talking about right there. So you know that. Even I just coached someone. I was doing coaching this morning, and I was talking to this lady, and she said to me, "I know I've been an a-hole. I know I've haven't been the nicest to my kids." I said, "Tell them that."
Mm-hmm.
Tell them that. Tell, because it's good that you're telling me. Tell them. And she had a conversation with her son, and it worked out really, really well because she was able to own her stuff. And like Don said, you lead with example because you are the one that has the capability to do this. So I'm guilty. I bled on my kids. Let me see. May says, "One day I had a fear over me. Can you tell me about that?" I'm not sure what you mean by that, May. Could you be more specific? I used to be able to, Kat says, "I used to be able to recite the awful letters she wrote me. Now I have forgotten them." Okay, so there's a place of forgiveness. There's a
Mm-hmm.
release that
That's
people
one
that actually have harmed you, they have harmed you and they have done, but there's a release. And I want to say this, forgiveness does not mean approval. It doesn't mean that I approve of what you did. It just means I release you from the debt that I feel that you owe me. I'm releasing you from that, and I'm releasing myself. All right. Kelly says, "Very true. To clarify, my connection with my parents have been the most challenging." Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And then learning to love them, if you're going to be with them, you have to love them based on just where they are.
where they are.
Sometimes people don't have the capability to move forward mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Sometimes they are a 12-ounce cup and you are 64 ounces. And all they got is 12 ounces. And if they give you their 12 ounces, that's cool because we want them to be more than where they are. And sometimes it's just accepting them for where they are. And maybe they'll change, maybe they won't. But that's something that's a decision that we have to make. Let me see. Kelly said they are very clear on their religious beliefs, and I honor that from a distance. And that's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Religion, Dawn talked about that earlier. Religion is a big thing, and it's supposed to bring us together in love, but it actually, a lot of times, it doesn't. It pushes people away. I saw the Pop the Balloon episode. One dude on there, he said, "I popped the balloon because she does yoga." I'm like, what? What? Quit playing. Damn, like, really? Like,
It's
you won't stop a relationship because this.
Yeah,
Don't get. You
and
know
a lot
what?
of times, and I know a lot of Kelly's stories. She's one of my kindred sisters. We very soul aligned. A lot of times when it comes with our older generations, they are programmed and they are solidified in those programs. I'm not gonna say stuck. They're just solidified. They're grounded in them. That's who they are. That's what they know. They're not shifting. They're not changing. They're not doing anything. Well, we have come to understand and understand when you have awakened to your truth, when you have done the work of forgiveness, giving yourself grace, loving yourself, loving the good, the not so good, the ugly, and everything in between parts of you, you then can look at people and say, you know what, that's what they choose. I respect it. I respect that those are your choices. It's unfortunate that you don't have the same respect for my choices and what I decide for my life. It's something like what I had to tell my I think I told my dad this once. I'm living for me. I can't live for you and me. So what you want, your idea of what you see for me is not my idea for me. It's what you want on some level for yourself, but you want me to have it, or you want things to go a certain way according to your desires. My desires are mine. I'm the only one that can truly see them. I'm the only one that was given the gift and ability to see them, just like I can't see yours. So when it comes to even raising our kids, I always told my son, I gave you a body. I didn't give you your talents, your abilities, your desires, your gifts. I didn't give you those things. Those had to naturally come through you. So whatever it is that you want, that's what you want. But we're gonna be the best version of whatever it is that you want. We're not gonna half-ass, we're not gonna slack. We're gonna be the best possible version of you that you can possibly be. But that is allowing, there's that word again, allowing people to be free. What do we want? We want freedom. We want people to love us. We want people to receive us. We want people to see us, right? We have to give that to others as well with the least amount of judgment possible. And when you come from a place of not judging, you have liberated yourself. You've liberated others within, as far as how you see them. Judgment binds us, it restricts us from actually just loving and living unconditionally. It literally, you're putting rules on other people's lives. You're putting restrictions on what you think they should be, how they should function, how they should speak, all those things. That's not fair. That's not fair because you wouldn't want anybody to do that to you. Yeah, I couldn't relate to church or religion either. It wasn't until I understood spirituality and I said, that's it. That's what's pulling me. That's what's calling me. And yeah, there's some people, I've been called a witch. I've been called all I'm like, I don't practice magic. I don't practice. I don't do anything that would consider like you said, he said she does yoga. That is a spiritual alignment and it's a connection between the mind, the body, and the spirit all at once. It's movement, it's energy shifting. And for someone to think that is evil, that is dark, no. Uh the things that go on within these institutions of religion is dark and evil and all those things, not peace and love and joy and bliss and creation. That's what spirituality is. And when you begin to wake up to that within yourself, you'll see the world through a different set of lenses that you do. I'm sorry, it is the good and the not so good. You will see the ugly, you will see the ugly, but you will also recognize, acknowledge, and experience the beauty that this world has to offer. It's amazing.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I like how you talk about the judgment piece because when you start looking at other people, when you reach your awakening in your awakening journey, and you start looking at there is a phase where you look at people and you be like, really? That's what you're doing?
I,
Really? Like people be so let's just keep it real. There's a stage where we awaken, but our ego is still there. Our
what?
ego is still alive. Go ahead, you chop it.
No, 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 no,
Say
no.
what you're gonna say. I want to hear it.
I'm trying to remember the name while you're talking about it.
Uh-huh.
It was spiritual. It is still ego, but it's kind of like you feeling. It's like being a spiritual snob. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
stuff you don't know. It's like you do go through that.
I'm telling you, it's a stage. I'm bringing it up because be aware of it because
Yeah.
it's just like in Christianity when somebody gets saved, what's the first thing they
Ooh,
do?
I feel you, girl. They
Yeah.
start judging.
Why are you still in the club? Like you was just in the club 3 weeks ago. Like what you talking about? You was there with me, and
You
and
sure
so
you want to wear that?
we will get to that place where we will become spiritual snobs. Our ego will jump in and say, "Well, how is it that you still doing this, or how come you don't know this information? I've been telling you. Why don't you listen?" That's
Hmm.
all ego. There's something in my journey that I realized, and I realized everyone is not here to wake up. Everyone is not here in this incarnation to wake up. They're in their own journey. When I look at these people, family members, friends, romantic, it's like, oh, you in your journey. Oh, okay. These pages are written. They're supposed to be written.
Yeah.
I can't change them. It's not up to me to change them. I could tell you about what I want if or what I'm experiencing if you want to know that information. But me trying to convert you is not part of the picture here. There is no conversion. There is simply me existing and being. Don said being the example. So when I exist in my light and I exist in who I am, you see that. If you're interested, you'll ask me about it. But for me to look at you and look down upon you, that's what you call a spiritual ego trap, because it's like, well, and how often we forget the moments where we were not, awakened. Like we forget, like, oh, when I was whatever I used to be, and to be able to look at someone um, with the judgment, like Dawn says, is something to be careful of. It's really to be careful because people are not there. A lot of people are not. And I say this: that your awakening journey is not a community project. It's not a group project. It's for you. It's for you. And if you notice, because you know what, the source could have opened up the heavens and then woke up everybody in your circle. So everybody, but it don't happen that way. You be the only one. You walk around here talking this stuff, looking crazy, and it's meant that way. It's meant to be that way. It's
Yeah.
meant to be that way. So when we look at others, is looking at them with grace and looking at them with the understanding that they are in their own specific, unique journey that
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with me. And then my question is, once they come across me, am I enhancing that journey or setting them back? What am I doing?
Am I
When they
even supposed
walk,
to participate at all?
I don't know. I don't know. Isolation is key. Your path is your journey. Yep. Kat says. Let me see what else y'all saying in these comments. They have to awaken on their own if they're meant to. Most people aren't going to experience that. Share out the live so people can get these gems. D'Angelo says, appreciate that, sir. I work with all kind of energies. Yep. Ayahuasca. Yep. So we'll talk about the plant medicines too. Tammy says you can only plant seeds. I want to say this too, real quick. The isolation piece is a part, but it's not meant to be permanent. Okay, you're not supposed to go into the woods and get a cabin and just be like, "Duh, f this world. I'm just waiting to die." Okay, that's not awakening. Awakening is there should be a point after your awakening where you move to service. You move to
Yeah.
service. You move to service to others. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, no, here we are. The different stages of awakening are, I mean, they're astronomical because people don't realize you go through an awakening when the shit hits the fan. That's the beginning, when things start crumbling in your world. It's like, okay, why is nothing working out for me? Why are my relationships shifting? Why is this wrong? Why am I so uncomfortable? Why am I out of shape? Why am I just disgusted with life? That is when the awakening is starting to poke at you because it now is getting your attention. And the only way it's not going to get your attention when you think you're living in bliss. It's going to get your attention when it says, I'm about to flip this whole place upside down. We're about to have some furniture moving around here. Okay. um it's literally, I like to call it your invitation. I'm inviting you to change all of this. That's what Spirit and Source is saying. I'm inviting you to make some changes because this life that you've been living, that's not what I have for you. That's not what I intended for you to remain. Now, here's the thing. It is meant for you to experience because you can't have an awakening without experience. You cannot. That life was by design. But when it starts to crumble, we don't go to the depths of hell. We don't stay there. We visit, but we don't get to stay there. That's your invitation to evolve. That's your invitation to grow. That's your invitation to surrender. That's your invitation to really put into perspective what is it that I want and what is it that I really need to do. I want happiness. I want fulfillment. I want love. I want joy. I want peace. I want money. I want experiences. Whatever it is that you want at your core, that awakening begins when that destruction is taking place because it's showing you what you don't want. So now it's inviting you to say, okay, you don't want this. What do you want? Ask me. The universe is, hey, ask me. Please ask me. I want to give it to you. I want you to have it. It's here for you. Just ask me. Don't linger in those dark spaces. Don't linger in those dark relationships. Don't linger in that dark mentality because I can't help but keep you there because that's what you keep focusing on. How many times have we heard what you focus on is what grows, or what what do you say, where your energy goes, your flows and all that, whatever. The universe wants to give you the best of the best, and we can't even imagine the best of the best. We're asking for little shit, little stuff, little itty bitty stuff compared to what it has to offer you. But that invitation is in the chaos. That invitation is in the darkness. That invitation is in the BS. Can you see beyond this? Because I have to show you exactly. The darkness is here to teach us everything you want, everything you need, everything that you desire is in that darkness. It's right on the other side. Are you willing to go through it? Are you willing to face it? Are you willing to put your fear? Someone said earlier they were afraid. It was fear. It was fear. Fear is your friend, not your foe. Fear is one of your greatest allies when it comes to this thing called life, because it's going to show you. How else would you know what you're capable of if you didn't have to face fears? How else would you know what you're worthy of if you didn't have to face adversity? If you didn't have to face trauma, if you didn't have to face all of the emotional wounding that you went through, you wouldn't know who you are, because as Dom said, this journey is about learning who you are. When you learn who you are, you then start to evolve into, okay, why am I here? Which goes into, as he said, now you become a servant of the collective. You start serving your fellow man. You start participating in other people's growth. You start honoring and loving them. That is how we come together as a being, as one, and help each other grow, because that's what we're here to do. We're not here to have giant portfolios. Yeah, it's cute. Here to argue and have fights about who's right, who's wrong. None of that. We're here to help each other expand and grow and become the best and greatest versions of ourselves. And until people are no longer distracted by those things and start honing in and being intentional and focused on what it is we should be doing, need to do in order to survive, not physically, I'm talking spiritually. We're in spiritual survival mode right now. And we're watching it. Every single person in here is watching it every single day. The souls are deteriorating. People are losing hope. People are losing inspiration. People are losing their sanity. And not in the good way, And it's up to us. People like Dom, there's a couple people in these chats that are here to serve and help people, and we're coming together. As he said, we're doing the Avenger thing. We're locking in. Everybody's got their talents, everybody's got their abilities, everybody's got their gifts, and we are here to help each other rise, because it's time. It's the dawn of the Aquarius, baby.
Yeah, I see what you did. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. Let me see. Tammy says, before you can serve, you must heal yourself first. Bars, you got to heal yourself. That's why I'm here. And I talk about that a lot in my journey about healing myself. Like my awakening was about me first. It was me going deeply inside of myself and recognizing, okay, who am I? What am I doing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? And I was way off, and I just had that knowing that I am better than who I am right now, and that process just led me to keep growing and then do whatever it is that I can do to grow. So, I talk about that a lot. Let me see. Wait, hold on. It could be some people are just here to not serve, and this is true.
That's true.
Um, this is true. So this again, this is, but you have to be able to recognize when someone is here and they're just in their journey. And I'm not mad at you. That's your journey. That's your journey. You're supposed to go through whatever it is you're supposed to go to. I'm not, shoot, day to day. Look, I'm struggling trying to get my meditation in every day. Okay, I'm trying to get. I'm working on getting an hour every day. So I got an hour. I'm in my hour, man. I got my hour today. I had it yesterday. I'm gonna make sure I get it. I'm meditate when I get off of here too, because I know I'm supposed to meditate more. That's a part of my journey. That's a part, and I'm supposed to do my spiritual work, to get where I'm supposed to be. So I can't be worried about somebody else's journey. I'm trying to get mine right, and if I can support them, in their journey, so be it. But I'm never too far from my own struggles to be looking at judgment of somebody else. I ain't never too far. My struggles are always in my face. Like, hey, bro, did you forget? You forget who you? Did you forget? And not in a way of condemnation, but just in a way of also reminding me where I come from, but then also reminding me, don't get too far off to where you forget that I was just like whoever it is that I'm judging in a sense. I
Hmm.
wasn't too far off from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hallelujah.
And we were talking about our different relationships with family, friends, the whole nine. Every single relationship that you have or have had and going to have is always supposed to lead you back to you. It's always supposed to show you in some kind of way you. You would not be an attraction. I'm not going to say alignment. It's attraction. Okay? Your friendships. Remember when we were in like preschool or when we first started school, you aligned and attracted with a kid that became your best friend at that point. Now, I'm not saying that the relationship lasted, but there was something magnetic that locked you into that kid or that group of friends. It's still the same. It's just evolved as we've evolved. That kid, you saw something in them that you see in yourself. And it sometimes looks like, I like that about you. I like that about you because I like that about me. Or I recognize it because I want to have that within myself too. It's just how we function, it's just how we are as energetic beings. We attract to each other. Now, relationships, family ships, friendships, all of that is still relative. You may clash with a cousin, a sibling, a parent. Those are the things that you have to work on within yourself. Why are we clashing? Well, they don't listen to me. Well, do you listen? Well, they don't value my opinion. Okay, they don't have to, number one, but do you value your opinion? And if you valued your opinion that much, why is it important for someone else to have to value it for you?
Bars.
These are things that you have to look in internally because someone is always going to show you you. We are one. As Dom says, we are we. We if you know anything about me, you know I'm always talking about the universal laws, the laws of nature. Number one is the universal law of oneness. We are all one. There is no separation, there is no division. We are just different expressions of that one. So how are you expressing? Let me see. Do I like how you're expressing? Yeah, I see that in me. I resonate with that. We are exactly, we are all mirrors of one another. So if you don't like something about the next person, that means there's something within you that you may not like, or things that you may have said, you know what, I used to do that same BS. I don't want to be around it anymore. I hope they get it together. I can only be an example of how I got out of that BS. Maybe they'll catch on, maybe they won't. Not my business. But it's a reminder of how far you've come. I saw this thing really quick. It says some people aren't here to wake up and evolve and grow. Some people are just here as reminders of how important it is if you don't. That is the realest thing ever. If you see people who aren't trying to become better, do not enforce them to become better. Do not stretch yourself and strain and pull your hair out because they're choosing the opposite of what you're choosing. That's their business. As Dom said earlier, this is a solo project. This is an inside job. This is an internal job. This is something that you have to do for you. There's nobody else that can go in there and do it for you. They're not supposed to do it with you per se until divinely you start aligning with people and you continue to grow together. When you start collecting and attracting your soul tribe. And that's when you are in alignment on a soul level. Why? Because you know who you are on a soul level. You know who you are, what you want and to experience in this life. And everybody's going to serve some kind of a purpose as you will serve a purpose for them as well. And sometimes it's just being a good friend. Sometimes it's just as simple as having someone who is not going to judge your ideas, your opinions. They're going to be able to resonate with you on the level of, I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel understood. But you had to do that first for yourself. There's no deficit. It's an abundance now. When you live in abundance, it's not just money. It's not just material things. It's not just those outside things. When you live from an abundant space from within, you start attracting more people who give you more of what you've already filled yourself with.
Hmm. Swedish Charlotte says exactly, but after I woke up, my friends disappeared. Yeah, that's yeah, we yeah, Swedish Charlotte. Yeah, we feel you. Is that's what we said. And exactly what Don just said, because when you wake up, you are at a different frequency. It's not better than anybody. It's not worse than anybody. You used to be on 92.7. Now you're at 96.8. Now, and that's a different frequency, a different channel. So you don't resonate with whatever was on that old channel. And that's why friends, family, relationships will disappear. And like Don said, the more comfortable you get with who you are, the more you embody your frequency, the more you're going to attract other people. It's like that's why y'all here right now. That's why people are listening. That's how me and Don connected. D'Angelo, like we were like, oh, you on 97.6? Oh, I know that frequency too. Oh, you know what? Yeah, yeah, we got somebody else on 97.6. And that frequency, other people would consider the weirdo frequency. They were like, y'all some weirdos. Okay, cool, no
But
worries,
we
appreciate you.
weirdos together.
Yeah, you know what? And they'd be like, appreciate you. Yeah, it just ain't for you. It's okay. I don't need to sit there and argue with you and pontificate on the frequency. It's like, no, you don't agree? Okay, no worries. Blessings on you. Blessings on you. But you will align, as Don said, with people who are on the same frequency as you. Because um, back in the day, think about some of the friends that we had that have gone. It's like, okay, I had doing dirt friends. All we did was dirt. And then when I stopped doing dirt, we really didn't have much in common. You're like, hey man, let's go do this. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. Y'all go ahead. Like, no, let's go do this. Casey said, be ready to lose everyone. I own up to my weirdness. You know what? And for real talk, I don't even care. Like, that's another part of this awakening. You start to fall in love with this journey and yourself so much. I don't care what nobody thinks. I mean, and not in an arrogant way. It's just I know what I'm doing and where I'm going, and I'm so confident in that. I don't need this. Ain't a community project where everybody got to sign off on it. If it's just me and me, we good. We
Really?
good because I'm never alone. You are never alone. Nobody here is never alone. It's you and you. And when you talk about, when Don says, um, when you said we all are one, so that means that all of us, we all together with each other. I'm you, you me. I'm with my higher self. I'm with my past self. I'm with my ancestors. Everybody's with me, and I know that. Embodied empathy says I'm constantly healing, so I have to. So I have been pretty isolated the last several years. Yeah, I mean that's a part of it. I
Right.
own up to my weirdness. Let me get the last comment.
And
Who is
when
this?
you
Somebody.
when you align with other people as your frequency raises, and also
Hmm.
let's be clear, it's not about raising your frequency, because you could be at a low frequency and still align with people who are at a low frequency.
True.
They're only going the energy's only going to multiply the more you stay in those spaces. So like Dom said, when he removed himself from those friends who were on that frequency and shifted, it's like, okay, now I've made space. How many times have you heard me say you make space when you, it's not losing, it's allowing those things to leave when it's time for them to leave. You're not holding on to them with such a tight grip as though you can't live without them. No, let's try living with something new. Let's try living with something that would be more beneficial and more conducive to what it is I'm trying to create for myself. The part about I want to say, people, I would love for people to stop saying they're losing, because you're somebody made you a pirate. There, you had like a whole patch and a pirate hat. It's hilarious. Um, you're actually winning more of you. You're not losing people. You're gaining more of who you are supposed to be, who you were intended to be in this life. And that does come with separation and isolation. But that isolation is important, because that's what you hear your soul calling out to you the most in the silence. And if you've got too much noise around you, you can't hear anything. You're going to hear the same mindless chatter. You're going to hear the same conversations. You're going to hear the same complaining, the same arguing, the same, all the things that don't serve you. You're going to hear those things. That isolation is important, because sometimes you need that undivided attention with self with source, with God, with spirit, whatever it is you want to call it, you need to be in that solitude, that peaceful state. You have to learn what peace feels like, first of all. You can't learn what peace feels like when you're surrounded by life chaos or the world's chaos. It's a beautiful thing, but for a lot of people it's torturous. A lot of people cannot be alone. A lot of people have to be around other energies because they have not yet figured out their own energy. It's almost like they're relying on other people's energy and frequency in order to tap into whatever they think they want to be at. No, it's about being in that solitude, being in that isolation and that alone is literally you saying, this is the frequency I want to be on. This is the frequency I'm going to be on. And the great thing about it is once you align with other beings who are on that frequency, it's going to catapult you even higher and higher. You may not even be on that frequency with them in 6 months because you probably shot higher because it's fuel feeding fuel. And it's okay because you've already know, hey, like Dom said, seasons. We may be here for just a few seasons. We don't know. That's why it's important to live in the moment and understand you're not losing anything at any time. You're winning, you're gaining, you're becoming. And as I like to start, my framework is about unbecoming to become. How much of the dismantling are you willing to do of the old version of you? How much are you willing to let go so you can receive and embrace more of who you are, who you're meant to be, who you want to be? And who you want to be is actually who you're supposed to be. It's who you're supposed to be when it comes from a pure place. If it comes from an egoic place, you're still playing the Matrix game. You're still doing that thing over there. And that isolation, that solitude, that alone is where you get to really get a preview of what's possible. And it's your job to make it real, to make it your reality.
And that part is like wait, what did you say? You heal inside relationships, not in isolation, but you do have to be ready to isolate as you can help. So there's two sides of that too,
Yes.
because there are some lessons that you can't get by being isolated. And speaking of the relationship piece, the higher your awakening goes, the less options you're going to have for relationships. Let me go ahead and put that out there. So you can go in and cancel the dating app. That ain't gonna work. It don't matter. It don't matter how many people around you. The alignment, because your relationship is not going to be based on searching. It's going to be alignment. It will align. And so that in that process, sometimes some of us, when we get into a relationship, the relationship becomes our God. Because that's the programming conditioning. I gotta be married. I was married now. That's what we're looking for. We don't love or value ourselves unless we have that spouse. And the awakening will show you that's not the purpose. Your purpose was not here to come here to do that. You have to awaken to yourself. Now, if you happen to have someone, you happen to align with someone, that is a phenomenally great thing. But that is not the holdup, the way the world tells us. Because as Dawn's talking about the isolation part, there is the part of you that has to isolate and grow and into who you're supposed to be. You came here by yourself.
Yes.
You leaving here by yourself. You ain't leaving with your spouse. That's not how it works. You came here. You incarnated here. Now, but there are people along this journey that you're contracted with, to work through and say, okay, I think about my ex, my marriage, and, I was contracted to go through and to cause the chaos and for her to cause it for me and for us to, like, that activated me. It activated the hell out of me. I was like, oh, damn. So we were contracted. So these relationships, like Don was saying earlier, I don't look for relationships just so that I could be happy and we could have a house and a white picket fence. I'm like, how are we trying to change this world? That's what I'm like. How are we trying to change this world? Like, are we? You just 401k? That's all we talking about? We just that's it? Real estate? Really? Cool. Okay, no worries. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But when you are an awakened being, that ain't enough. That's what everybody does. That's what everybody does, that same thing. Your awakening is like, well, again, how are we raising the vibration of this planet together? And again, you're not going to find too many people who are on that level. Most people want the regular things. Let's get the ring, let's get the house, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're an awakened being, you have a different assignment. Go
That's
ahead, Don. I see
always
you.
an assignment. And to add to Kanae's point, if I could say this, our healing is done in two places. It's done behind the scenes where we actually collect ourselves with ourselves, if that makes sense. We go deep within ourselves to ask what we want, what we're doing, how are we moving, what have I experienced. We This is where we do our internal work. Our relationships is where we implement. We actually get to practice what it is that we've done on an internal level with ourselves, because I'm not getting ready to go through all my healing in this relationship. If that would be kind of like I'm still using another human being to try to fix me. No, I now have to implement what it is that I have healed within myself and practice that with another human being until it becomes okay. This is who we are now. This is what we do. This is how this is going. Everything has shifted. It's healing is for you, not for others. Healing is for you. That's what I'm saying. But you implement it and you practice it with relationships. Like I said, when it came to my family, I had to go do the work. That was my work. I can't change another human being. Our relationships got better because I did the work. And now I'm changing the dynamic of how we communicate, how we flow. You drop the phone. I had to do that for me, and then I started seeing the improvement because now I'm implementing what I did in these relationships, in these friendships. This is how I'm choosing to move in it, and it became more alignment as time went by. My healing helped their healing in a sense, but the healing that was only my business was the healing between me and them. Their issues are still their issues. Their nightmares, their traumas, their stresses, all the things that they still have to go through on an individual level is their business. That has nothing to do with me. It was just about me and what we had or have within between the two of us.
Good point. Really good point. So Kane says, including the TikTok dating app. It'd be going down in here in these TikTok streets. I know.
Oh God, let's not.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. Swedish Charlotte says, yes, I don't think I'll ever be able to meet a man who hasn't woken up. Um, yeah, I mean, if that's what you say, you want someone who is in alignment with you, and like Dawn said earlier, your job is just to make sure you continue to stay in alignment with who you are. I heal in isolation, going deep, and present the lessons learned externally. My husband has been the biggest supporter and has learned to help me, but it's also helped him rise. That's good to hear. Before we were born, we agreed a soul contract or elevation can be lonely experience if you're holding on to validation. What's the best thing you do when narcissists try to use humor on you? Leave them. Leave narcissists. Yeah, we don't. Yeah,
Immediately,
yeah.
immediately
If
run.
you playing around with them, no, and I always say this, you keep playing around with like you're playing around with something that they're those are individuals, and I don't. This is not to cast aspersions on them, but there are some people that are not here to evolve. So you playing around with someone that's not evolving. They don't have the capability to evolve in a lot of senses, and they don't want to. So the question that you have to ask is, what is it about me that is sitting there with someone that I know can't evolve? I know they can't evolve. I know they can't change. So them using humor, or that's part of the trick, the bag of tricks that they have. And so, again, what is it that I am attracted to in this scenario? Why am I here? Am I here to save them? No, you need to save you. Like you gonna have to save you. Let me see.
Someone
They
said
will.
how she means in social settings when she can't escape them.
Oh,
Um, you can. You have to first believe you can.
oh yes.
That's the first step. But you also, if I may ask the person who asked that question, I can't scroll back real quick. Are you an empath? If you are an empath, such as me, such as Dom, you are going to attract narcissistic energies. That's just what it is. Why? Because they're here to siphon our energy. They need it. The only way that they can get it is if you offer it to them, like a
Mm-hmm.
vampire. A
Yep.
vampire cannot come into your home until you invite them. That's just it. So if you feel that I can't get rid of them, you need to become empowered within yourself. because that's a disempowering belief that you're carrying, that they have power over you to take your energy, when in fact, no. It is, I mean, at the end of the day, laugh at them. Laugh at them. They're not gonna like it. They're probably gonna have a tantrum about it. They're gonna try to manipulate you in some kind of way, but have the knowing. Yeah, narcissists are here to help us wake up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
when you have the knowing that that's what's happening, that's you being empowered, and don't play with them. Walk away, run, leave, go do whatever you need to do. You don't have to be there. You're choosing to participate in that space, and you don't have to.
And that's a good point. Anytime you're dealing with somebody like that, you have to know who you're dealing with and then know how to respond. Now, when I used to play college football when I was a young guy, we had our PR and marketing team that would come in and they would tell us how to speak to media. So you give us a talk track. So if you see sports athletes, they all say the same thing. Yeah, we did a good job. We executed. We did this. That's a good team. They all say the same thing. You know why? Because the marketing team tells them to say that. The PR team tells them to say that. They have a talk track ready. So whatever questions the reporters ask them, they know what to say. You have to have that when you're dealing with a narcissist. When I was dealing with one, this person would say something to me and I would say, hey, appreciate your opinion. All right, I got to go. Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate your opinion. I got to go. I don't even wait. I'm not already. Why am I going back and forth with you? Appreciate your opinion. Thanks for that. I got to go. Keep it short. Keep it sweet. And then I don't need to prove, because what they want you to do is start proving yourself. They want you to say, well, Dom, you know, those glasses that you have on. Well, no, don't talk about my glasses. These glasses came from blah, blah. Once you do that and you engage in conversation, you lose, because that's what they want. And that's how they cipher your energy. So you have to keep it short and sweet with those people. Say, yeah, I appreciate your opinion. And even by saying that, I appreciate your opinion. Think about that. I appreciate your opinion. That's what you think. I don't have to accept that. And then just move on from that.
You give them gratitude. I just say, okay. I walk away. I don't want. I didn't ask for it. I don't need it. Maybe it's also because, I mean, I could be what they call an asshole sometimes when it comes to that, because I know who you are. That's what I love about. I always say this. I love the vantage point of, I see you, you can't see me.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you're doing, and if you want to tango, let's tango. But you're not gonna like how this song goes. I'm not going to entertain what you're trying to offer me. I've been down this road. That's the knowing. I've already experienced this. I'm already empowered in those spaces. Not saying I can't be got. Let's be clear. I could be got, possibly with new energy, new trickery, new something, because guess what? The more you raise yourself and your frequency and your consciousness, the better they get. Okay?
It's like Marshawn Lynch said, I know I'm going to get got, but I'm going to get mine more than I'm going to get got.
Thank you. It might happen. Can't say it won't happen. But they do get better, because guess what? When you are rising, when you are becoming more of your higher self, you are still going to face contrast, adversity, situations, circumstances. Life is not the Garden of Eden. It's not going to be picture perfect. You're still going to have those experiences with people who going to try you. They're going to test you. And you do have to go through the experiences, because, as we said earlier, you're not ever going to be finished awakening, aligning, ascending. You're not going to be finished until you're finished. It's just not happening. So do expect, but don't expect. Don't look for them. Someone and something is going to come and take you to the next heights. So I say sometimes, yeah, invite the experience in. Work through the lessons. Work through the wisdom. Earn the wisdom. That's the only way that you're going to really become what we call ascended masters, to be the greatest, highest, most exceptional self that you can be.
And then you can look at them. You'll get to a place, you know, where Dawn's talking about, where that ascended master, to where when she says, I see you, that's one of the benefits of being an awakened being. You can see very clearly, you know, and I'm not talking about physical seeing. You see beyond, you know, what's happening. You know, you're talking about narcissistic or toxic people. You look at them with compassion and say, man, you know, what happened to you? Yeah, like what happened? But not so much compassion where you're gonna say, "Come move in with me," because now you're an empath with boundaries. An empath without boundaries is a short trip to a bad place. You're just trying to love everybody. You become a cactus hugger. You will go over to a cactus and start hugging it, trying.
Okay. Yeah, their behavior is toxic. People aren't toxic. Their behavior is. I think you're still on silent. It's coming. It'll be back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now.
Okay, you have to be aware of where to place your love. And I already know I'm not hugging a cactus. I'm not going to do that. I can see the cactus as a living being, but I'm not about to hug you because
No,
the
you
more I hug you, what does that do to me? That's going to harm me. So I'm not into self harm. And I don't. Some people like that. I don't like that. I don't like pain. I don't like it like that.
yeah.
So we can't. We have to empath, especially if you consider yourself an empath. If you have not reached the place of boundaries yet, that's probably why the narcissist is there to
Yeah.
teach you, to
Yes.
show you those boundaries.
Yes, that's what they said. Narcissists are here to teach us lessons, and it is
Mm-hmm.
boundaries. It is self-love. It is self-awareness. It is your value. Because what does a narcissist do? They try to devalue you and get you to believe that you are less than. And that is the one of the greatest lessons you could ever get from narcissists. I learned how to love myself from being with a narcissist or two. I learned my value from them devaluing me. I learned how to put myself first from them wanting me to put them first. It's always lessons within there. I wanted to touch, and once again, y'all, if you want to come up, you have questions, you have any need for validation in your experience of what you've been experiencing, we're here. Go ahead, hit the request button. We would love to exchange with you. We're loving this engagement, this interaction with everybody. We love that. That's what we're here for. I wanted to touch on, there was a question in there a little while ago that said, what about when you are awakening, but your spouse is not? Mr. Relationship Expert, go ahead and help us out with that one.
So you saying, oh, say, what was the question again?
It
When
said,
you're
what if you are awakening,
So
but
if
your
you're
spouse
awakening
is
and
not?
your spouse is not, you have one of two choices. So the first one is well, you do have to understand again, it's not a group project. It's not the Notebook or Titanic where it's a love story, and that's not how it typically happens. You awaken. Sometimes the awakening is for you to wake up and move away from that relationship. Other times it's for you all to wake up and then learn to live with each other. Because if you're going to stay in a relationship with someone who is not on the same journey as you have to practice radical acceptance of who they are, and they have to radically accept who you are. If you don't have the acceptance, if we're still trying to convert each other, then that's going to be a problem. If you expect that person to say, hey, well, you're waking up, because most of the time when you wake up, what do people say? What the hell's wrong with you? Are you crazy? Are you psychotic? Do you need meds? They're asking you those questions. So you have the first thing is you have to practice radical acceptance if that's your mate, if you're going to stay, because you have to. And radical acceptance is saying, listen, I accept you whether you grow or not, whether you move into this space with me or not. If you cannot live and exist, let's say, I'm in my awakening and my spouse is, she's a devout Christian, all right, and we just can't get along. That may push us away. It may push us away. And I want to say this, and I say this cautiously and carefully. Sometimes awakening will break relationships. It
Mhm.
happens. It's a part of it. You have to understand there is nothing here that is everything is fair game when you come to awakening. Everything is fair game, you know. But
Yeah.
again, I say that, in love and all love and respect for people's relationships, you have to practice radical acceptance if you're going to stay together. And both of you have to do that. And
Oh,
both of you have to, kind of become curious about each other's journey, like and curious in love. If we're gonna stay together, like, oh, what? Oh, okay, you starting a Bible study now? Oh, okay, cool. How can I help you? You want me to make some sandwiches? Like, what you want me to do? You want me to bring some tea? I don't have to be there, but I will support you in what it is that you're doing. It has
What
to
you
be that
want?
level of love. What? You don't want the sandwiches? What? Hot dogs? What? What you want? What you want, dog? You want hot dogs? Pizza? What?
Some chips.
Chips?
I will say this. Then there's another question I want to get to. Someone just asked about religion and the community, but we'll get on that next. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to you, like Dom said, your spiritual journey, your awakening is yours alone. It's always been yours from day one. Everybody has their own. And then as time progresses, you come together collectively and you continue rising, right? Because now you're on a higher frequency and have more inner awareness of oneness. The thing about it is, once again, he stated seasons. That version of you that married or got into a relationship was an old version of you. You are becoming someone else. As I said, you're unbecoming who you were and you are becoming the next you. Just because you decided back then to take certain vows, you yes, you want to stand by those vows. You swore an oath to God, the person, the family, the whole nine, that you would do these things. But people who decide to get married, and I'm gonna just speak on this because I understand real marriage. I come from a real marriage, so I got 40 something years of observation. When you're with the right person, you choose to grow together. There is no, oh, they're doing this, but I'm doing this. It's a matter of it might not be at the same pace, but you make the conscious decision to say, I want to grow with my person. I want to become more with my person. And in order to become more with your person, you have to become more within yourself. Now, if you're faced with a situation where you're doing it by yourself and they're lagging behind and they have no interest whatsoever to rise with you, I gotta be the one to say it because I'm always brutally honest about this. It's pretty much coming to an end. And it will come to an end when you decide this is no longer fitting who you are intended to become. You made the choice to become a unit with this person, but that doesn't mean you're supposed to remain a unit with this person.
So if they're not making sandwiches at my Bible study, and they're not bringing hot dogs, and they just won't support me, then it might be time.
It might be time.
And this is a hard lesson. That's a hard listen. That's not something that you're gonna hear because everybody's is under the impression that it all works out for the best, which it actually does, but that doesn't mean that we're staying together. And there is nothing on this planet, in my understanding of awakening at this point, there's nothing on this planet that I'm not willing to let go of in order to get to where I'm supposed to be.
Hello.
Because I already know, listen, I understand the spiritual ramifications if I don't do what I'm supposed to do here. Like I understand that, so I'm making sure. Somebody in the comments said that Frankie said one of the hardest things is trying to beat up people that you want to beat up people that you. How did he say it? He said, wait, hold on, I gotta go back to the
You
comments.
just want to, but
And so, as they said, we're gonna pray for you. We're gonna pray for you. We're gonna keep you in prayer. Because we ain't supposed to be trying to
some
handle
people
rude people.
some
So
people
again, when you
need it though. Some
yeah,
people need it.
and listen, you're right. But the thing is that we talked about this when we talk about narcissists. When you're looking at people and you look at people from a different standpoint, I look at you with compassion. Like you really think this is the way to go. Like you. So I look at some people and I understand. Okay, your soul hasn't gotten to a place yet where you can move in love. You're not there yet. So I'll show you how to do that then. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. And I've done that. I've done it on several occasions with people who deserve, to go and get this elbow. They can have a couple of these elbows, but then I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna help the journey. That's gonna, then they're gonna have me on tape, on YouTube. I'm gonna be on
All the
anger management teacher beats up, a teenager at
yeah.
at at,
It,
at Walmart.
it's also a thing where if you know that injustice or anything that's been done wrong to you, because that's an emotional wound. injustice. I didn't get the outcome that we all know should have taken place. The way to begin healing that within yourself, to gain composure, control, management over your response and your reaction, is knowing another great law of the universe, the law of karma. What goes around comes around. I don't have to do anything to that miserable person because they're already miserable. They're
Ooh,
already living in their own personal hell. There
man.
is nothing that I can say, physically do, or show them that will do anything to fix what's going on within them. That's their problem. I'm going to go ahead and preserve my energy, even though, yeah, I would like to slap them right between the eyebrows. I would. But what good would it do?
And sometimes there's no response is necessary. You don't
No
need to.
response at all.
And sometimes I'll just look at people like, that's how you feel? Or I like that SpongeBob
Mm-hmm.
meme. All right, I'm gonna head out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna head out. And so if you, Frankie, if you need to, I teach anger management. Hit me up. I'll add you to the class. It's a class I needed to take in my life. I've taken it. So anybody else that need that, let me know. Because if you struggling with strangling people and you feel like you want to, or running people over and you're in traffic, let me know. Hit me up. We'll get you all. We'll get you all settled. What's that religious question you was talking about, Don? You
So
said
she was
somebody.
saying, "What do you do?" Let me just paraphrase. What do you do? And that was from Swedish Charlotte. When your community, your friends, your family are all Christian or in their religion, and I'm assuming if you could just elaborate, or if you would like to come up and join us to elaborate on that, she's feeling like the oddball in her space, in her community, because if she's here in this space, she's going through an awakening or has curiosity about it. And that religious environment is not for her.
Oh,
If I'm
wait.
understanding that
Let me
right.
read it. She said, "How is it for you who live in a country where so many people are Christians, like friends and family?" Oh, okay. So in Sweden,
Oh, okay.
apparently it's not like that. And it's not a religious country, from what I know. It's a struggle. To keep it real, it is a struggle. Now, I will say that I was one of those religious people. I was deeply in Christianity. I was a leader in church. I've preached messages before. I know the Bible back and forth. I know it, but I could never rest in it because of who I really was. And it is a struggle. It is a struggle sometimes because uh, but a lot of people in the religious world they don't know how to coexist with other people without throwing up and the religion on them every time. So you be like, yeah, I went to the store. Oh well, Jesus is at the store. Did you find him there? Did you get him in aisle 7? I'm like, wait, I just want to tell you I went to the store. I don't need to have a religious conversation. I just wanted to say I went to the store. And so every chance you get, they're trying to force it down your throat. And it's just like these used car salesmen everywhere, everywhere. That's what it feels like. It's just used car salesman. You cannot have a normal conversation. And then I'm saying to them like, you trying to sell me on this organization, but have you dealt with the mess within that organization?
Mm.
Because if you haven't, don't talk to me because I need you to deal with that stuff that's happening first. And then come tell me. But it is a struggle, but at the same time, even that, I have to look at that with compassion because I was there too. I was there too, and I look at it with compassion. But I will stand my ground, and I've learned to have very strict boundaries with that. When they try to come on my page and tell me, and I'm like, we don't do that here. No, I don't care what you. And listen, I heard it a million times. It's like Jesus loved me, but you don't. You don't. I don't feel it from you.
Mm.
I don't feel that love from you. I feel judgment. I feel your spiritual ego. I feel.
You got another call. Yeah. Hold on. It's coming. There we go. Now you back.
I was just saying, if you're going, but it can be a struggle. But just like with narcissists or toxic people or anybody else, you still have to look at them in a way of compassion that they are in their journey. But I have to set my boundaries, and I have very strong boundaries with that. You're not going to come tell me, you know, what I should be doing, or no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, it's a matter of, when we get down to the foundation of it, religion itself is about control of the people, control of the minds of the people. And spirituality is actually liberation of the minds and the souls of the people. So, of course, if you are a person who is free thinking, free spirited, free in spirit, you are going to face challenge with people who are volunteering to be in bondage. They don't want to know anything different, or they don't know there's anything different, or they're afraid of anything different. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people who don't choose to question, do not choose to think outside of whatever box has been laid in front of them or they've been placed in. They don't want to know there's more than what's being offered in their community, their town, their society, whatever it is. And religion literally teaches you how to not like other people. Religion teaches you how to become separate when, once again, first law of the universe is oneness. We're all one. We're all unified. And I'm not saying all religions, don't get me wrong. Please don't misunderstand me about that, because there are many religions that do talk about unity and love and collective consciousness. Okay. I'm talking about Western religions who have literally tried to do what they're doing today. Separate, diminish, belittle, trap, all these things that in the name of you know who, when they don't even really know who you know who was. And they definitely don't know who you know who is on a spiritual level. If they did, they would know what they're doing is not correct, is not loving towards the fellow man, is not loving thy neighbor, is not what's going to get you into whatever pearly gates you think you're going to walk into after you leave this life. It's not happening. They're doing it from a dark, egotistical, powerless, because they think they're taking away power. Once again, like we said about the narcissist, if you don't invite them in, they can't suck you dry. They can't take your power. And the only people who choose to take away power from others are people who feel disempowered themselves. Empowered people only want to help empower other people. We don't want to take it away. We want to give you more. But when they want to take things away from you, your choices, your ideas, your happiness, they put restrictions on what you should and should not do, what you should and should not say, how you should get married, how you should live, all those things. That's disempowering. That's not allowing you to be who you truly are meant to be. Spirituality, going through your spiritual awakening, is the invitation to do just that. And if you are facing a community and a society and an environment that restricts you, run. Run fast. Run quickly. Go find you're on mute. Go find your tribe. They're out there. We're here.
Yeah, and that's why we're here. D'Angelo says people have been unalive in old times from asking questions, and Don was talking about this earlier. That was one of the things that removed me from that. It was like I started asking questions. I'm like, my mom gave me the religion. Of course, my mom loves me, so she gave me the religion. She's like, this is what we do. And I was like, all right, if this is what okay, this is what you say, then I did it. But the more I got into it, the more I realized, hold on now, my brain is not working. What they say, the math ain't mathing with this. I don't understand this. And then the more I asked questions, the more they just told me would take it on faith. And I was like, okay, so then I shut my brain down. But then I started thinking, I was like, okay, if God gave me this brain and he knew I was going to have these questions. So then what, well, and I said, if this is true, it's going to stand the test of my investigation.
Mm-hmm.
It's going, and the more question I asked, the more it just led me away. But I had to give myself permission to ask those questions. And then, but this is my journey, and I'm speaking to me, and so I don't tell other people this so that you can leave your religion. No, if that's how you find God, so be it. Do you enjoy yourself? I'm not saying this for anybody who believes that, oh, you shouldn't. That's not my place to say. That's above my pay grade. My spiritual pay grade is not to be trying to convert you. We don't in the spiritual community, we don't colonize. We don't go colonize other people and tell them you're going to hell if you don't get spiritual. You go through your journey, and blessings on that journey, whatever that is. And if you want to know about some of this stuff, come hit us up. Don, myself, D'Angelo, hit us up. We'll let you know. We will let you know about that journey. But it's not about us trying to colonize you or tell you that But again, the other piece is making sure that I had to make sure I had very strong boundaries with them folks, because man, they be on another one. I'm telling you, nothing against the used car salesman. Somebody said that they dad was, hey, blessings on him, but man, they just be out there just peddling, and sometimes I was like, man, I want to sit there with you. Did you know about this? Did you know about that? Did you know? I got time today. You know, you got the right one today. But then I'm like, nah, let me just keep walking. Let me keep walking. Let me keep walking in these TikTok streets, so I don't be starting no problems. But it is a difficult topic. And then my question is this: are you able to love someone who is on a different spiritual path than you?
Mm. Have you reached that part of your spiritual awakening where you can love everybody for just being themselves and who they are and what they believe? Can you do that? And also, can you be okay with not having those kinds of conversations, or either being open to having conversations where your beliefs and what you think are conflicting? Can you have that in a healthy way? Because I was just having a conversation with my doctor earlier, and we chat, and I said it's about respect. It's about respecting. They have this ideology, they have this belief system, they have these experiences that now allow them to think this way, to be this way, to live this way, to love this way. I respect that that's what you have for you. And I'm also here to listen and learn more, to broaden my perspective of why you've come to that, what that does for you, how it improves and enhances and benefits your life. Can you do the same for me? Most people cannot. But when you do align with people, because there's I have cousins, they're Muslim. When I tell you those are my favorite people in the world, no, we don't have the exact same outlook on things. No, I don't fully understand how come they restrict themselves and things and all these little things. But at the same time, I love you. And I love learning more about what you do and how you do it and why you do it. And they do the same for me. When we can get to a point where I don't care if you're Buddhist, Jewish, Jehovah, all I don't care. I'm here to learn from you and you're here to learn from me. Let's do it lovingly and understand we're all different on purpose, but we
You
just
know,
have different expression.
to your point, Don, which you said something that triggered something in me. Something that I learned throughout my journey is to practice spiritual respect, to respect other people's spirituality, whether I don't have to agree. I simply accept where you are in your journey. So I have spiritual respect and I also have spiritual consent. So spiritual consent, when you think of the term consent, what does consent mean? We both agree. So that means I'm not going to go shoving my spiritual stuff down your throat when you said, when we just having a conversation about bread. You know, we talking about bread, and then you start talking about your religion. Well, hold on, man. I'm just asking, do you like wheat or white, or what kind of bread you like? So spiritual consent means I need your consent before I start talking to you about this. So you're gonna. I'm not gonna just. Hey man, did you know that you're supposed to do your spiritual awakening? If you're not, you got to reincarnate here again. You got to come back. You might come back as a fly. You might get into some shit. I don't know. You might want to switch it up. That's not what it is. Spiritual respect, spiritual consent.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people that don't have that, and that's the part where it becomes problematic because we don't respect each other's position. We're in this one-up game. Mine is right, and yours is wrong, and so we have to win instead of like doing what Don said. Just like her cousins are Muslim, so but some of the best people. And I have it like that too. Some of the best people in my life are people who are Christian, or people who are Muslim, or people who are agnostic or atheists, or and I'm like, I'm not here for all. Look, y'all do what y'all got to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing what I got to do.
Yeah.
you know.
So someone just asked, where do you go? Wait, hold on, let me go back. This is gonna get good. Where do we go in the next life after awakening in this one?
Well, that depends. Yeah, that depends. I already got my walking papers. I'm
He
moving to a
did.
I'm moving to a management position once I'm done here. and so, as I understand, for me, I've incarnated here many times before. I've been here a couple, two, three, four times. All right. So I've been here some times, and then I don't know, for whatever reason, it's been on me that I'm done here. And um, I had a reading recently, and the lady, she said, "Yeah, you're done. You don't." But the thing is that I've been given the option to come back if I want to. Like, they give me the option to leave or to stay. But I'm like, I'm moving to management. I'm moving to management after this. Like, I'm not coming back here. I'm done. I'm
I will
done. But
say this. I will say this. You that we okay. This is healthy to say because you I have to put it in there. As of right now, you're moving to management. But once your alarm clock is getting ready to go off, you may say, "Wait a minute, I'm not finished."
oh, to that no, to your point, let me say this real quick before I forget, not to cut you off. So I've done some plant medicines. All right. So in my plant medicine journey that I've done, um, the plant medicine. Every time I'm in the plant medicine journey, they have given me the option to leave. They say you can leave if you want, and then when I start leaving, because where they're telling me to go is like it's peace. I'm moving to peace. I'm like, man, so I'm floating away over there, and then after a moment, I'm like, hey, wait, no, I'm not done here.
Go back.
I'm not done, y'all. But they like, if you want to go now, you can go. But I said, no, I'm not done here. And there is a sense of urgency. And if you've seen any of my videos or you see what I talk about, I have a sense of urgency
Mm-hmm.
about my life, about myself. There's things that I do and I'm engaged in that are just like, what the hell am I
It
doing?
has to happen now.
And I have that sense of urgency and I know it.
Yes.
I know it.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
How many times have I told you when I was a little kid? I said, "Okay, I'm here now. What? Let's get to it. Let's tip. We got things to do." It's that thing. That's why it's like I don't know. I'm hoping this the last go.
Oh yeah,
I think, but
you
you know
done.
what? I think I was already in management in some kind of way. I decided to come down here and handle things because things weren't going according to plan.
I could see that. I could see that. Listen. You know what she did? She took her headset off and said, "All right, look, I'm going."
Let me go down here and go. Because that's my personality. Hold on, let me get y'all together. This is a mess. And
But
it gets like that sometimes, but I know my soul is ancient. It's been confirmed through other spiritual
yeah,
beings that they
yeah.
were like, "Yo, you've been around for a long time." And for me, I feel that because Earth is boring. I'm bored here. This work, this awakening, all of this is literally, with the exception of my son, the only things that excite me. Everything else is did it. All right. Well, let's move on. But that's being in alignment with purpose and why you're here. I'm not here to do all the other experiences that other people talk. We talked about, you and I talked about uh not being married. I'm not here to be a wife. I might be here to be a partner, but I'm not necessarily here to be a wife in the same sense as people recognize marriage and wifey and all that stuff. Did I get to experience one that was beautiful through my parents? Absolutely. But then I
Mm-hmm.
got to make the conscious decision. Is that what I want? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I've done it too many times. Maybe it's the fact that the ability to have free will and choose something different for myself excites me more. And if it
Oh
happens,
yeah.
it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just what you choose is what you should what you want is what you should choose for yourself. And that is what I know I'm always going to be an advocate for. I'm a rebel by nature. I'm not supposed to go with what everybody else thinks and how society thinks it should go. And I'm here to demonstrate that for other people. Break the rules. There are no rules. They keep telling you there's rules, but there's no rules. Make the game plan, make the playbook, whatever it is you want it to be, and live
Mm-hmm.
blissfully, abundantly. D'Angelo just asked a question about heaven.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
What was that? What was that question?
He said, do you think we're living in the heaven on earth right here? And like, is it heaven on earth? And you can create your heaven here, like you can do that. But I've had the chance to. The best way I can describe this is I've had the chance to peek into God consciousness, to poke my head in and see it, and it is probably the most. It's probably one of the most powerful things that you will ever experience. Like if I haven't been able to fully grasp it, but I've seen it, and it is. It's not it's not heaven. Like, you go to consciousness, you go back to consciousness, you go back to where we come from, and that is the best way I can describe. It's not a heaven or hell. It's just you go back to consciousness, you go back to existence. Like, you know um when you think of God and you think of heaven, it's existence. It's not a man, or it's not a being. You go back to that state. And the few moments I've been able to see it and experience it, it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. It's anytime I'm talking about it, and it's a struggle, because it's such a powerful, powerful thing. You're overwhelmed with love, with peace. Like, you're overwhelmed, and then you come back here and you're like, I'm back in this ghetto ass place. Like, really?
This ghetto.
For
So
real.
I have not been to that space that Dom has talked about, but I have been in what has felt like the only word that I could use is perfection. Absolute perfection. And I talk about, being in that state of existence where nothing is perfect, but nothing's wrong. It's a sweet spot right in the center. And once you've felt that feeling, what it feels like physically to us, you want to hold on to that, and you want it to grow. You kind of want it to be all day, every day, in every way, but that's not what we're here to experience. We're here to experience contrast. We're here to experience growth and expansion. We're here to elevate and become the greatest versions, because that's the consciousness that we are here to imprint in this 3D realm, on this timeline, on plane. Because when we do transition out of these bodies, we're back into that perfection that we have when we do the work. We're bringing that here to this place where it's very dense, it's very contrast, it's heaven, hell, all mixed in one. It just depends on which one you want to experience. And life is going to give you more choices than you realize on to align with those things. Do you want to have great experiences? Yes, have great experiences. Do you want to be around great people? Yes, be with great people. It's not about, oh, I want. No, do. Be. Become those things. Choice. Our first God-given ability. We choose moment by moment by moment what we do, what we say, what we think, what we believe, what we feel, all of that. We choose that every single day. It's about becoming extremely intentional about what you're doing, feeling, becoming, believing, all those things. You have to be intentional. When you wake up in the morning, if your alarm clock goes off and the first thing you do is cuss, that's your indication you're not on the right frequency. You're not on the right timeline. You're not where you're supposed to be. So what do you do after you say those cuss words? Let me get up. Let me do something that I want to do, that's intentional, that fuels me, that's in alignment with where I want to be. Yes, we do have to do things that we sometimes don't want to do, but we should do more of what we love to do. We should have more experiences that we want to experience. It's always going to be some form of contrast. I said earlier, no matter how high you get in this game of spirituality, of spiritual growth, of spiritual awakening, you are still going to be faced with contrast. And you're still going to have the ability to decide how you respond, not react, respond to the contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Respond to the adversities, respond to the letdowns, the disappointments, the pitfalls, the distractions, all of that. You get to decide how to respond so that you remain in alignment with your heaven, your version of heaven. Because if you don't, you're choosing the opposition. You're choosing what you don't want instead. And you have to ask yourself, is this what I really want?
And
So,
that's to following up with Don's point, choosing how you live. Like in this journey, there's a tremendous amount of loss that I've experienced. Like the when I say loss, I mean there was the shifting of again. That's relationships, that's ideas, that's belief systems, that's finances. And then I've gotten to a place where I am. There is not much that can come my way where I'm going to choose a lesser version or a lower frequency. I'm still going to stay where I am, even though the contrast happens. And so that's the journey. When the contrast that Don's talking about, when it hits you, are you crashing out over that? Are you crashing out because there's traffic? Are you crashing out because the money is not right? Are you crashing out because the relationship ain't working? Are you crashing out because when you are able to face those things and just say, oh, okay, all right, yeah, I don't really like that, but you know what? I'm still in gratitude. I'm still in gratitude. And you choosing, like Don says, choosing the heaven in spite of the hell. Like in spite of the hell that you're going through, like, because I know this, I was come out of the dark night of the soul in this 2023, and man, and the biggest lesson I learned in that one was to relax into the hell, like relax, stop fighting, like allow it. It's supposed to happen. It's supposed to burn some things off of me and burn some things onto me. Let it happen. I'm kicking and screaming. I'm fighting, trying to get out of it. And it was like, no, you ain't going nowhere. Sit. And then when I sat and I accepted, and then I had gratitude in the middle of my life falling apart, it all changed.
mm-hmm.
It all changed. What she said about choosing, you choose, like I chose my heaven, or I was like, I'm in the middle of hell, but I chose heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, look, man, and my stability's gone, my comfort is gone, things are not working the way they're supposed to, but that is a part of the journey. It is a part of this journey, being able to choose how you move through this life. When someone don't want to be your friend no more, or your spouse don't like you no more, the kids don't like you, you know what, the things are not, and we can go to the mundane things, traffic. Of the 35 people in here, where my road ragers at?
I'm a retired road rager.
Yeah, retired, not the triple R. So now the reason I bring that up is because life is going to present. What about my parking lot ragers? You stole my parking space. Are you in the store? Like the mundane things of life that we crash out about. As you go through your journey, you will start to look at those as like, oh, this is an opportunity. How am I going to manage this? Am I going to stay in heaven, or am I going to take myself to hell over this thing? And we talk about the people that are disrespectful. We talk about people that are, and I see it all the time. I'm like, look, man, okay, I see you. I see you being disrespectful. That's all right. You know what? It's cool. It's all right. I'm going to move on from that. But that's where this journey will take you. It will get you to a place where you will be smack dab in the middle of hell, and you sitting there being grateful, meditating, and you're like, nah, it's all good.
Yes.
It's all good. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
It's going to be okay. And even this is working out for my good. Mm-hmm. Even this is, I'm not to be Christian, but in the Bible, the scripture says all things work together for the good of those that love him and called according to his purpose. All things, this thing too, is working for my good. And I just have to figure, but I'll say this and I'll land the plane. It's very hard to figure out what you're supposed to learn in the middle of pain. I'll tell you that right now. When you're in pain and you are struggling, it's very hard to learn the lesson. But when you're able to pick up a lesson in the middle of pain, oh, you own something. You own something on that part.
Yeah.
You own something.
And when you've gotten to a certain point in your elevation, you already know, like I said earlier, fear is your friend. It's not your foe. Pain is as well. We're here as human beings. As I said, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. But we can't know pleasure without pain. We can't know happiness without sadness. We can't know joy without anything that is the opposition of that feeling. This is a land, a place, a realm, a world of duality. There, we learned that in science class, exactly, the yin and the yang. And that's why on our promo shot I put the yin and the yang on the back, because that is the true symbol of existence itself. You cannot have one version without having the opposite. That's balance. That's the way this universe operates. That's why we were talking about the divine masculine, divine feminine. Yes, we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. If they're imbalanced, you're gonna not be okay. You're not gonna be okay. That is out of alignment. What is alignment? It's balance. How balanced can you be? The law of opposites, the law, it's so much that goes into knowing who you are, knowing how you operate, and also when you get imbalanced, knowing how to get yourself back into alignment with yourself. Because as he said, traffic, parking spaces, mine is stupid people. It's just whatever it is that's gonna knock you off of your quit laughing at me. Whatever's gonna
Have you
knock
met people?
when people ask me, they always ask me, "Do you have any allergies?" I say, "Yeah, stupid people." Like, don't bring them. I'm gonna start sneezing and itching. Um,
You
when you
definitely came from management. You came from management. You took your headset off and came down here. I already
get
know.
frustrated, I can see it. I'm gonna make a little skit off it.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Try to finish my point. So when you get out of balance with yourself, it's important to know how to rebalance yourself. Like I said, with parking spaces, anything that frustrates you, you have to make that decision how long you're going to stay in that frustration. Allow yourself to do it. You're a human being. You're supposed to have feelings. You're not supposed to block it out. Just because we are spiritually aligned people does not mean we don't get pissed off. It does not mean we don't get sad. It does not mean we don't get frustrated. We get those things, but we check ourselves and say, okay, take that breath, take that beat.
Woosah.
Yeah, it's the woosah. It's the it's the
Remember your
woosah.
pressure points. Woosah.
And you really collect yourself and say, where am I supposed to be? Not where do I want to be? Where am I supposed to be? Let me get back in tune. Let me put on some music. Let me put on, watch a funny show. Let me call somebody. Let me laugh. Let me meditate. Do whatever it is that you need to do to fill you back up. Because guess what? Once you've gotten to a certain level of awakening to you, you already know it's going to be good. I'm going to be good. It worked out for me because guess what? Life is always going to, I don't like to say test us. I always say challenge us. Because I'm looking at it like this from a perspective of the universe is saying, I challenge you to meet this adversity, this resistance. I'm challenging you to face this thing right now because I need you to go higher. I need you to elevate even more. And the only way you're going to do that is if you don't stay complacent, if you don't plateau in your energy. I need you to bring it up a notch. So here's a little something, sprinkle, sprinkle. Let me give this to you real quick, and we're going to raise you up that much more.
You said earlier.
Uh-huh.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You good.
You said earlier about becoming a master, like mastering yourself. Like you mentioned that. And I seriously doubt that the master is going to be in the parking lot arguing over a parking space. Like, because of and I don't say that in the way that we're supposed to move in perfection, but I do say that as beings of light, and you're supposed to shine. Your people are supposed to feel the energy from you. There's because you are embodying source energy. And so, which one am I choosing? And going back to her, I mean, this is powerfully said when she said, "You choose." Am I embodying 3D energy today? Is it just going to be this meat suit energy? Or am I going to embody source energy today? Which one am I going to do? Because when you're embodying source energy, you see the whole picture. So, real quick, in my meditations, when I'm able to access source energy. So when I meditate, I'm able to access in little glimpses of source energy. And so I start to see, I have like little visions of like, it'll be somebody on a boat somewhere, or somebody walking, or a dog, or it'll be just little glimpses of life that's not my life. And so what I'm able to see is I'm able to see the big picture of God is existence. So God is everywhere. So in my meditation, I'm able to access little bits and pieces of the air everywhere on this planet. And I could see things that are, I'm like, where is this coming from? First, I thought it was me. It's not me. It's me being able to access God from that perspective. The reason I say that is because when you understand this journey from a broader perspective, you don't get caught up in the little things like that. You're not caught up in that stuff so much. It happens every now and then. You get upset. People trigger you, but at the same time, you see things from a bigger picture. And that's what our awakening is supposed to get us to where, like Dawn said, we get to the place where you master level. But that takes a long time, by the way. That's not, and it's an ongoing journey. But there are things that we should be mastering because if the opportunity keeps presenting itself to you, and I say opportunity, that means you keep getting challenged by that thing. That's an opportunity for you to grow. And so are you taking that as a lesson, or are you just getting annoyed by it? And, I can't stand this. I can't stand seeing this person every day. But what do we do with that lesson? It's time to grow.
Yeah.
It's time to, and it's an opportunity. Chink says, how do you deal with stupid people you walk away from?
That's no
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, I mean,
We walk away. We walk away. We look at them and say, okay.
This next elevation phase, prepare to be sick of me.
Right. And it just, you know what? And I think I'm going to be totally transparent. I think we talked about this too, Dom. It's like this version of me is becoming more comfortable with self-validation in a way that could come off as, I don't want to use arrogant. I was gonna say arrogant, but it's assurance. It's a new level of confidence that I'm not yet all the way comfortable with because we're practicing, we're becoming. It has to integrate. It has to integrate, right? But it's and it doesn't come from that space of the egoic one, like, well, how come you're not doing this? It's not coming from that judgmental spiritual space where you're looking down on people because they don't get it yet. We have the understanding, well, everybody's not going to get it. But I know that at this phase, I'm good. I know that no matter what tries to come in, it's going to be for me and it's going to make me even better because that's the only thing that's on the agenda. There's nothing else. And I had somebody say, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep doing this class and learning this and reading this book? And I said, what else am I supposed to be doing? Realistically, what else am I supposed to be doing except for expanding myself, becoming more, growing myself? Am I supposed to be watching reality TV, looking at other people's lives, judging them and adapting bad behaviors? We're not doing that. Am I supposed to be clinging on to material things and valuing them more than I value my inner peace and my inner knowing? No, I'm okay with that. No, we don't do that. We're here to become what God, the divine source, spirit, intended for us to be in these bodies right now. And when I go back to management, I put in a good word for you.
You gonna snatch some headphones off again? Like, you know what?
I'm gonna boost some of y'all up so you don't have to keep coming back.
Hey, you know what?
Yes.
Let me see. We're at 7:14. I got to get going. I got about 15 minutes.
Did
I do want
to any questions or anything? We want to do this every Monday, if possible. To have conversations. I love the fact that so many of you said thank you for holding this space, and these are some of the best conversations that they've seen on TikTok. This is what we want it to be. Now, I will be transparent. I haven't said this to Dom yet. I don't know what TikTok is getting ready to do. Okay.
You're right.
So with that being said, I'm open if he's open to moving this to Instagram, to YouTube Live, to any other platforms. If you guys will go ahead, click in our bios. You can find me on YouTube. You can find Dom on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram. We are here. We're not going anywhere.
Right.
Just be a little shift in the platform if they do some shenanigans,
Yeah. Yeah.
that we don't necessarily agree with.
Right.
But we are going to keep this frequency up. We are going to keep this. We want this to be engaging as it was tonight. We want to bring you guys up. Stop being camera shy. We want this to be a community of awakened beings because collectively, this is how we will win this thing called life. This is how we will raise the consciousness, the frequency of this planet, which is why he and I were meant to be here.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Mm-hmm.
why.
Yeah.
And we want you to come with us. So please, please, everybody, click the links in our bio, follow us, find out where we're going to be, what we're going to do. Because we don't know. We still got planning and plotting to do.
Yeah, no, and YouTube, Jay Rich says I'm not on IG, so just create a little dummy account, Jay Rich, on IG. Put a little dog in the picture, and just you ain't even got to,
Don't
but
post, just watch.
yeah, that's it. You ain't got to post nothing. You ain't got to be about the Instagram life. But the point is, and I'm 100% on board with what Dawn just said because we don't know what's about to happen, but we want to be ready for it. YouTube is the next level, and Instagram is the next level too. So just stay tuned for that. But as for now, we are going to be here next Monday. Because like Dawn said, this is the point of this. And I'm glad that all of you all were here. Thank y'all for commenting. Thank you for your participating. Thank you for speaking. And listen, when a lot of times people say we don't have a community, here we are.
We're here.
Here we are. And so follow us, follow D'Angelo. D'Angelo's on here. Who else? I don't know who's on here. D'Angelo does the same thing. I'm not sure who else is here, but
my girl Kanae, she
Can,
does great
okay.
work. She
Okay.
hosts her lives every morning,
Okay.
specializing in her. I know one of her main topics is what's keeping you up at night, and it's about aligning with the most. She has this rich girl, and so it's for women and wealth and prosperity and inner prosperity as well. So we talked on one of my lives about that as well.
Okay.
But yeah, like Dom said, YouTube is the ultimate goal because IG is a little weird too.
Yep.
YouTube is the platform that we're trying to elevate and trying to create. We want a community. We want to assist. We want to participate in the expansion of everybody's awakening, everybody's growth. We want that. Like this excites us. Like we're little nerds for this stuff. And we just want to lock in with people. Tell your friends, tell your cousins, tell your aunties, anybody who is in alignment with this energy, with these beliefs, these thinking, the whole nine. Let them know we're here and we're getting ready to rock this thing out. We don't know where it's going, but we know it's divine alignment, honey. It's divine alignment. It's gonna happen.
So, in your bio, your links are in your bio. My links as well on YouTube. I'm on there. So you and me need to create a page too. So that's our next step for YouTube because we don't have a page yet. Jay Rich said he ain't going to IG. He's on YouTube. We got you, bro. Don't worry. We got you. We're going to be there. We're going to find you somewhere. Don't worry. If we got to be out at the malls, we're going to find you. So if we at the mall sitting there.
We're the only ones in the mall because nobody's in the mall.
You're right. You're right. But he was ignoring my comments. He wouldn't read mine. Okay. Was that me? Was I ignoring your comments? I hope that wasn't me, Kanae.
No.
Let me see. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not about the ignoring life. Not for our family over here, because that's what this is. This is our fam.
Yeah.
It's our family. So, any questions y'all have? Any questions? Any concerns? Any emotional outbursts? If so, now's the time. If you want to speak your piece. Otherwise, we want to we do want to thank y'all for this and sharing. And then, so in our next one, we want to try to bring some people up. I'm going to bring y'all up. Let y'all speak y'all piece. Y'all heard from us. We got more to talk about, but it would be good to hear from you guys and hear what your stories are.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Dom, as usual, my dear, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Arigato.
You guys have a wonderful night. I'm gonna repost this and share it with Dom to put on our individual right now until we set up our collect. Wait, someone's in the Oh, this is D'Angelo. Hold on, let's see what D has to say.
Oh, bring it, bro. Okay,
But I'm
that's
gonna I'm
good.
gonna have it on I'm gonna have it so we can put it on our individual
Got
YouTubes,
you.
and then we'll align it and have it on our dual platform.
Got you. Okay.
D'Angelo.
What's good, brother?
Yeah. Oh man.
The inspiration right here, man.
Y'all y'all didn't tell me you were gonna do this. You didn't tell me you were gonna drop this on us like that. You know, this kept this whole thing a secret for months. Okay? How you
It
gonna do
really
that to
didn't
us
happen
like that?
like that
Hold on,
though.
how you gonna do me like that? You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you, D, it wasn't for months. Like we've been sprinkling, tinkering, but really it came down to like I remember we had a conversation and then he was like, no. And I said, okay, well when? He's like, right now. It needs to happen. And I'm
Hmm.
like, all right. So I went in and was tick, 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 let's see what we come up with. And I presented it and he was like, let's get it. Let's go now. So here we
Yeah,
are.
she put this whole thing together, and there was no way, like, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. It was just like, hey, she aligned everything and like the vision of it, and I was like, man, this is it, this is it, and it's what you was talking about, D'Angelo. Like, you sparked this, bro. You sparked it, because I was like, man, this brother, he was adamant about it too. Like, y'all need to hurry up and get this done.
Of
Well,
course.
I'm just gonna
And this
say this: if he sparked it, I put the idea in Don's head. And listen, because I told her when y'all first got on a live, y'all were in together, and I says I
Okay.
like the energy. So I'm
Mm.
super excited for
Well,
you
you too
guys.
then.
I am super, super happy this is happening for you. Don, we will be talking. It was a
Yes.
great seeing you this weekend. But Dom, I'm going to pick a bone with you because I know you ain't unfollow me.
I did.
I'm just needing to check that, sir. But
I, I don't know. Shoot,
and
man, I
D'Angelo,
don't know
it
what's
is it
happening
is
in these
it's
TikTok
nice meeting
streets.
you too. But again, I'm super excited about what's happening, what's coming, and I did say that your tribe will find you in the most unlikeliest of places and the most unlikeliest of times. So
right. And,
congratulations.
and I just want to say, if she planted the seed, then I just helped water the little right? I was just watering, all right? Because the reality is, you guys, yeah, this is a perfect timing. Like you said, King, when you were on my platform, you said, when the time is right. Well, it looks like the time is right, and I definitely know it's right. Look what's going on in the world. There's people that are lost. People are not being fed and nourished with the right information. And again, I love that you guys edify the fact that you're not here saying, okay, if you believe in this, have your beliefs, but I need to do what's best for me spiritually, that we can not be egoic in this approach,
Hmm.
because reality is we still got love for everybody, right? But you guys just really, really gave me the best early Christmas present, and I'm so excited about every Monday. I'm gonna be there. This is gonna be my church. All right. So what I got a special request for you guys. Okay. There's the things that we need to know. There might be people in this room that already have some of the knowledge you have, but people like me that are still, in the early stages of awakening. My only request is to let's get some formal teaching going so we can learn about ego death and all the different terms and stuff. Let's go to church.
It's already done.
That's all I want to say. Thank you for having me up.
Well, Don, you have some material that you are promoting, right? For the book.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was getting to that.
Okay.
I was getting to that along with, Dom is coaching. He has an amazing skill set. He's been doing this work for a very long time. So if you've resonated with him and want to get more of his insight, expertise, and guidance, by all means, please, please book a session. Book a session.
Master classes.
Yes, well, my
Master
master class
classes.
actually is launching on November 11th, 11/11. It's gonna be amazing. I've been like a mad scientist in here on my overnight trips when I'm traveling. I'm literally building this thing to offer to people. But right now, if you're interested, I have some free downloadables to help guide you. I have them on working through loneliness, how to master the mindset of you, how to identify where you are on your with your energetic frequency. Also, it connects to YouTube where there's conversations. We're going to be hosting all kinds of things going forward. So it's going to be amazing, but definitely check it out. I'm also creating a course, and it's called the Healing Mastery Method. It's steps that you take that will allow you to know how to heal yourself through all of your emotional wounding. Now, I'm not saying don't do therapy. Absolutely. It's going to help you recognize when you are in these negative emotional states and what to do to work yourself out of them, and how to become the master of your emotions and how to navigate through this thing called life and around different relationships and people. So definitely go check out my Stand store. Link is in my bio. I got some downloadables. You guys have been awesome. Oh, and then I just did the new one, which is the 5 steps, the 5 signs that you are awakening. And that's one of the reasons why we're here, also to validate your experience, what you are going through, what you are seeing, what you are hearing, what you are feeling. Yes, it's happening. You're awakening. You're not crazy. You're not losing it. You're waking up to you. And these are different signs and what you can do to assist yourself along the journey. Real simple, but
And
you
we
need
can
it.
go over that or through some of those to D'Angelo's points, because D'Angelo would, and I hear the ask. The ask is, "Hey, can you explain this stuff to us? Can you show us what this stuff is?" And I hear that. I hear it loud and clear, and we are going to do that. We are going to explain Dark Night of the Soul, integration, embodiment, coherence, all of this stuff. We're going to explain all of that, so that people understand what this is. We'll just have it, to Don's point, because it's like, these are the signs that you're awakening. And so for us to be able to explain it to people in just plain English, like, this is what that means. I think that's a great point that you bring up, D'Angelo. Thank you for that. Thank you
Yes.
for Jay Rich for coming and supporting this, for planting the seeds to this. Yeah, because this is something that's a long time coming, and I'm very grateful to be here, to listen to you guys, to hear this, because and listen, it's not just us learning, or us talking. We're learning too. We're learning from all of you guys too. I can talk about the softer side of healing when you guys are ready. Okay, the softer side. We can talk about the soft side, the hard side, whatever side y'all want. We can the
Yes.
sunny side up. We can talk about that too.
That's
Like,
my girl Kanae.
mm-hmm,
I had
mm-hmm.
I had I had the privilege of hanging out with Kanae and Jay Rich this weekend.
Okay.
And I tell you, when let me just spill our tea a little bit. Friday night, we sat around on a rooftop around a fire, and we read off each other's natal charts. That was the best Friday night girl night ever, to just be with girlfriends who we're learning and listening about ourselves and each other, and we're laughing, and it was just great times, and it was so girly. It was. And then the next day we spent the whole day the next day having lunch, just being in great energy, in like minds, in like energy. And we kept saying, this is what it's about. It's not, there's no drama, there's no issues, there's no egos. We're supporting each other, we're
Mm-hmm.
inspiring one another, we're being raw, authentically, and truthful to one another. Because Kanae told me something, I was like, I was like, no, you're right. I do that. Yep. And
Some
it was
growth.
just beautiful. It was beautiful.
Which, I think that we should talk about that too, in some of these upcoming, like the power of connecting with a tribe, and then what that does for you.
Mhm.
Um, because that's something that's different. We're connected on here, but I do see at some point in time we're gonna be at some type of conference somewhere. All right, D'Angelo, you ready, bro? I know
Yes.
you ready. I already know you ready.
I mentioned that to you too, and you said, let's get it.
Yeah, I listen. We are here to create. Every last one of us are creators. You are a
Yes.
creator. Every last one of us.
It's
Jay
So,
happening.
Rich just said a cruise. She's speaking my language.
Hello,
okay.
D'Angelo.
She's
See,
speaking
see.
my language,
What did
bitches.
I tell you when I joined your with a company? I said this is
Yep.
for this. It's all
There we
unfolding.
go. Hey,
It's,
I'm supporting. You know I'm here. Let's
he's,
go.
he's
Let's
the
go.
cruise
I see a
specialist.
retreat. I see a retreat with you guys teaching, and then we party in the evening. Okay?
The DJ? Are you the DJ? Are you the DJ? I know you the DJ.
I could be
I
DJ.
sing, but I ain't singing.
I could be DJ.
This travel agent stuff, man. This travel
Okay.
agent stuff.
All right.
Now
All
we
right.
connect with our children, yeah. And at some point, down the line we have our children with us as well, because they need to be exposed to this as well, because we want them to be greater at this age than we are now.
Uh, and that's a whole other topic. Now you just thought up another topic right there to talking about the impact that we're having on our children, and it's not so much sitting them down, because most of the lessons are caught, not taught. So they are watching us, and we are influencing them by simply being who we are.
Mhm.
So can I
They're
ask you a
still,
quick question
they're still the
on
little
that?
ducklings going after mommy and daddy duck. They're still there.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, D'Angelo.
Being that you guys just said that and you said the kids, what the number one thought, still knowing that I'm out of Christianity, right, for good, but I still have some of that stuff that's imprinted in my head that creates the fear. Like for example, being the man of your home, and so you're supposed to lead your family from a biblical standpoint, Christianity wise. You're supposed to lead them spiritually, right? And so now that that I'm on my awakening journey, and I got to look at my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I got to look at my wife, who may not be at the same. We're functioning fine together in our spirituality, right? We give each other our space. But I always remember as a Christian the words that are, the words they say about, okay, it's my responsibility as a man to make sure that my child is guided, spiritually, right? But what I'm not supposed to make a choice.
Mm.
But in from a Christianity standpoint, if you believe in that, you are supposed to guide them in that direction. And now, if they're lost, it's like I'm responsible for it.
You're
Follow what
really
I'm
not.
saying?
You're really not responsible for it after so long, because once again, they have free will. Your job was to love, nurture, protect, guide, and lead, right? They're still going to make their own decisions of what they feel they want to do or what's best for them. Same thing I said earlier when I told my son, I just gave you a body and I was responsible for it and had, chose to love it. I didn't have to love it, but I chose to love it. I took care of it. I showed it the best that I could. I showed it what I didn't want it to see sometimes, but that's part of parenting. And now he's 19. I've had to cut the umbilical cord a couple of times and let him become the man that he wants to be. I may not understand it. I may not agree with it sometimes. It may be hard for me to realize that I can't control this little person, this human that I did create with my body, but there's a higher power that created him for purpose. That's none of my business. It's here. I'm here to support, love him even more, and let him know he's got this, no matter what.
So
No matter
the
what life
awakening experience is an individual experience.
it is. He may not awaken. I don't know if my son is gonna awaken in the ways that I have. When we have conversations, I know he's very much awakened, but I don't know if he's gonna have a spiritual awakening. There's a
So,
difference. He has awareness. He has self observation. He has all those things. But on a spiritual level, that's something that he has already agreed to before he came here. But it's not my job nor duty to impose these things onto him.
and our job, and I second what you just said, Don. Our job is to, D'Angelo, you said if they become lost, if the kids become lost, if they
Well, not
become
lost,
lost,
but like if Christianity is kind of like a community thing. You're supposed to be, the whole household should be with the same mindset. That's what I'm saying, right?
right, and
But
so
since you're
now,
saying awakening is an individual experience,
right.
go
But
ahead.
and so when you're speaking about that, and I understand what you're saying because especially as the man, the male, the head, they teach you you're supposed to be that. But that mentality, the more you grow, is going to dissipate. And your job is simply to love them wherever they are. So wherever my children are, my job is to show them how that I love them, and my love is not dependent upon you doing what I want you to do, especially as an adult. When you grown and you make your own decisions, I become an advisor at that point. And I'm an advisor, so I'm your advisor. I'm just like, hey, listen, this is how I would do it, but I respect what your process, what you're doing. So my experience with them is to make sure that they experience love and guidance from me. But now the guidance can't be me, forcing this upon them. They will choose this based on the energy that I embody. They're going to say, hey, my dad is this energy. What did he do? What was he doing? And then they will choose whatever they want based on that. What I don't want them to choose is based on me forcing it to them. And the ideology, what you're talking about, is powerful. And it's someone that's, like you said you're new to this walk. It's natural for you to still have some of both. Don't beat yourself up about that. But you just have to be able to recognize where that's coming from. It's like, because now it's like, well, hey, I'm less of a man, I'm less of a father because I'm not leading. No, you're not. You're actually more of a father. You're more of a father because you're releasing in love. You're allowing them to love, and then you are embodying. You're just being who you need to be. If something happens to them, you don't respond the way you don't respond in a way of the world. You respond from your spiritual place of love. The love that you are embodying, it supersedes religion, it supersedes conditioning, it supersedes patriarchy, it supersedes all of that. And listen, your kids will recognize it. They'll recognize it. And then, like Don said, it doesn't mean that they're going to follow. I don't even have a mandate that they follow. My mandate is just to love them,
Mm-hmm.
period. Like, you don't have to be what I be if you want to be a Christian, because my sons, their mom is a Christian, so she in that world, they in that world, and okay, well, one of them is in that world, and I'm like, I love him no less. I don't care. I don't care. But the mentality that Christianity puts in you, that you have to be the head. Listen, it's not so much about being the head; it's about being present, being in love. That's what it is. Don't worry about being the head. Just be in love. Just be present in love. And I mean, if you want to look at it, well, that's even more than being the head. I'm just present. I'm love. I'm whatever you need for me to be in that moment. That's what I'm gonna be for you. That's what I'm gonna be for you. But it does. But I'm not. I don't need to judge you.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the last part I'll say in Landis is that this is a struggle between you and the new version and the old version. That's what I see. It's normal. Don't worry about it. Keep going, and recognize when that is creeping in, because that's a fear-based mentality.
Mhm.
It's fear-based. So
And
I'm gonna
just
leave it
like
there.
Kanae just said, D'Angelo, you are being the head. You are
Yes,
the
you
head by asking that question,
Bars.
because you're asking so that there can be progress, so there could be elevation. It's not about, oh, you're not sitting there trying to judge him and things like that. You know, I don't care what my son decides for himself, as long as he chooses a life of just being a good person. Just be a good person, because that right there is your imprint in the world. Everybody doesn't choose to just be a good person. And I've already got the confidence. He is a good person. There's nothing that can change him or shift him into becoming a detriment to other people. He doesn't have that heart. I don't care if he awakens to his divine, it may not be for him, but he has self-awareness. He knows what he wants. He knows where he's going. Great.
Hmm.
And like Dom said, I say it all the time, I'm no longer mommy, I'm advisor. I'm his mother, yes, but he only calls when he needs me. And I know if I see he shows up on my phone, he needs something. He just needs a word. Or he just maybe say, hey, mom, you want to hang out? Okay, cool. And I don't say no, because he doesn't ask for much. He doesn't ask for much. But when he does, I show up, and I'm like he said, present. There's no phones, there's no distractions. I'm involved with you because this is our relationship. You ask me for my advice, I'll give you what I got. It's okay if you don't take it. But you're a thinker like me, so you're gonna ponder and make your own choice. What's best for you? The way that I raised him. Figure it out what you want. Go in that direction, but just have a direction. And in the meantime, be a good person.
My son said to me one time, I was trying to give him some advice. He said, "Pop, I got it. I got it." And I was like, "Oh." I was hurt. I was like, "What do you mean you got it? Like, I'm trying to give you this. You gonna get this?" But I had to wait. Hold on. He said he got it. Love him through his choice. Love him through his process, because this is his journey.
Yeah.
The other thing in your house, I was talking about this earlier, about radically accepting them where they are, and not having to change it, and just being like, okay, this is where you guys are. I love y'all anyway. I love you. You know what? It's just like y'all loving me anyway. But I can 100% resonate with this, D'Angelo, because I was struggling with this too. And we could talk more about it offline, but it's a real thing. It is a real thing. Like that mentality of like, I'm supposed to be. I'll tell you this right now. You are exactly who you're supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Where and
Bars.
who? Yes.
You're exactly who and where you're supposed to be right
Exactly.
now.
Angel,
And you
that's
already,
one thing I know more than anything right now. The person I am was who I was supposed to be in my first act. In my second act, I am really who I am trying to be. But sometimes there's that person right on my shoulder, the first act person. He's like, "Come on, man, go back to the same person you used to be, man. Come
And your
on, brother."
past calls to you. Be
And
speaking into your ears.
that's that unbecoming that I talk about. It's cutting ties with that identity. Now there's some things that you should bring with you. There's experiences, wisdom, resources that you should. That's a phase that I'm going to go through at some point with you guys about unpacking your baggage, because we're only taking our luggage. There's a difference between baggage and luggage. Your luggage are your necessities, it's things that you need for the journey ahead. But your baggage are things that you just tagging along. Sometimes you're overpacking. Sometimes you can be too prepared. Sometimes, and then you realize I didn't even need that. I didn't need to carry all this extra. I didn't need this to get as close to 50 pounds. Now they charging me. I don't need to do that. So it's a matter of knowing what you need to take with you and leave the rest. That's unbecoming to become who you are desiring to be and who you are intentionally becoming. And the thing about when it comes to our children, they are still observing. They are still watching. They still judging too. Let's be clear. But that's why you got to remain on your path and say, that didn't work for me back then. Why am I going to keep doing it? That way didn't show me how to get to where I'm going. So I'm not going to look in that direction anymore. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. And I'm going to tune out that version a little bit more every day. Just a little bit. One small step. That's all it takes. And you'll get closer and closer to where you desire to be, because who you desire to be is who you're supposed to be. And who you're supposed to be right now is who you are. So keep reeling that person in more and more and keep letting that other version go.
One of the things that Don and I talked about before I left was essentials, packing essentials, right? Because we're talking about some other things as far as work goes. So the folks who don't know, my background is in archaeology. I'm in government. And so I was feeling here in on the status of a lot of things that are happening in the country. And I says, at what point do you have to realize that you can only pack the essentials? You don't need all the extra stuff, all the extra, perfumes and the makeups and the shoes and everything else like that. I said, think about, they tell you when you're out there in the wilderness surviving, you need your essentials: a good pair of jeans, some good walking or hiking shoes, a couple of t-shirts, your tools to clean your water, those types of things. That's what you need to survive. I said, the goal here is to survive so that you can go into the next phase of things. All the other things will fall away. All the material things will fall away. All the earthly things that you're holding on to, those things will fall away. Those aren't essential. Focus on what's important.
What
And
you
I land
need.
my plane there.
What you need. Needs and wants are different. Needs and wants are different. Because what you need.
Well, here's a whole other conversation now another topic.
I know. It's going to keep going on and on. That's
It's
why we'll be
another
back
topic.
next week.
100%.
Love you guys all to life. We'll be back next week. Once again, follow us. Reach out to us if you need. If you know somebody who needs, share our information. We're here to serve. We're here to be with you and grow with you. We love y'all.
Hey, love y'all. Blessings on all of y'all. Thank y'all for being here. We'll see y'all next week. Be well.